Chapter 710. The mountain breeze was slightly cold. Mingwan looked at him. She had some guesses in her heart, but she wasn't sure. Zhang Haozi turned to look at her and said softly, "Because I met you." Mingwan was stunned for a moment. When she met the gentleness in his eyes, her heart trembled. "Dear brother?" "Yes." Zhang Haozi smiled. That smile was very light. It overlapped with Qiao Zhe when he was young. At that time, he only wanted revenge. When he came to Lin City, he had nothing on him and couldn't do anything to Zhang Kuan. Although he wanted revenge, he couldn't find a way. What was even worse was that after Zhang Kuan found out that he had run away, he sent people to hunt him down several times. If it weren't for his good luck, and the fact that Zhang Kuan was focused on expanding his business during that period of time, he wouldn't have been able to focus on dealing with him. Otherwise, it was unknown whether he would have survived. There were naturally other reasons for this. Zhang Lai had come to Lin City and stayed for many years, so he naturally didn't stay for nothing. Although he looked like an ordinary employee, he came from the Zhang family after all. He had left someone in Lin City. Those people eventually became Zhang Haozi's help. After coming to Lin City, Zhang Haozi changed his name. He followed his biological mother's surname, Qiao Zhe. He lived in seclusion in a bungalow and rarely interacted with others. Not only to be inconspicuous, but most importantly, he didn't want Zhang Kuan to say that he borrowed the Zhang family's power in the end. Even if it was someone left behind by Zhang Lai, it was still a member of the Zhang family. His surname was Qiao, so it had nothing to do with the Zhang family. He was only 14 years old and could do too little. However, this didn't stop the flames of revenge in his heart from burning. He stayed in a bungalow. This area was complicated and chaotic. Although he was only 14 years old, he had already seen the darkness of the Zhang family. In terms of methods, these hooligans wouldn't be more powerful than Zhang Kuan. In terms of ruthlessness, Zhang Haozi, who wanted revenge wholeheartedly, was like Satan from hell. No one could stop him. After he used force to subdue a few hooligans, he began to expand his territory step by step. The time he met Mingwan was a mistake. He was too impatient and accidentally offended a small local leader called Brother Liang. Behind Brother Liang was a slightly famous and powerful leader in Lin City called Big Boss Hui. Brother Liang had lost face at his place. He had spent the entire night picking more than 10 people to get back at him. That day, he was careless and let his subordinates go back first. At that time, he had already been in Lin City for a year. During this year, he relied on his fierce fighting skills to improve a lot. The young man felt that his skills were not bad, so he did not take this group of people seriously. However, in the end, it was impossible for him to not lose when fighting against more than 10 people alone. Just when he thought he was going to die, Mingwan appeared. She was actually very timid and didn't dare to do anything else. She only shouted that the police were here and saved him. However, this person was quite smart and knew to make some noise. Brother Liang's men had left. His entire body was in extreme pain from being beaten up, but he knew that someone had saved him. He walked around the alley and walked in front of Mingwan. Only then did he realize that the little girl was so scared that she fell to the ground. She was clearly so scared that her face was pale, but she forced herself to calm down and did not run away. For some strange reason, he took the bread from her bag and ate it. He was pretending to be hungry, but he really wanted to use this opportunity to teach her a lesson. Who would have thought that a timid little girl would dare to lecture him and say that he littered? How ridiculous. Who would care about where the trash was thrown in that area? What was even more unexpected was that not only did the girl dare to lecture him, but she also dared to follow him home. The days that followed were a little out of his imagination. Not only was she bold, but she was also stupid. She gave him all the money she had. He thought that he was going to take her in, but he didn't expect her to run away the next day. She was really stupid. If it weren't for him, she would have been taken away by someone else. If 1 or 2 people went missing in this area, there would be no sound at all. After that, it was much simpler. She treated him as her savior and called him dear brother. He didn't care. It was just one more person to eat. As long as she didn't mind, he didn't care. However, after having her, his life was indeed much better. At least he didn't have to eat irregular meals, and he didn't have to stop for meals. After that, things got out of his control. That year, during the Lantern Festival, that bowl of alcoholic rice balls. He looked at her blushing face under the light, and suddenly couldn't control the impulse in his heart. The young kiss, the intimacy of hugging each other to sleep every day. At that time, he was already 15 years old, and had been on the streets for so long. He knew almost everything he needed to know. He knew in his heart that he had high hopes for the girl. He didn't think that this was something that couldn't be said. However, in the current situation, he couldn't do anything. His plan was slowly unfolding, and the number of subordinates he subdued was also increasing. But it wasn't enough. He still had a grudge to take. Moreover, she was too young. She didn't even have her period. She was really too young. Even if he could wait for her to grow up. To him, she couldn't just stay by his side like this. After all, he still had a grudge to take, and she should live a normal life, not be like him, a hooligan on the streets. Therefore, he thought of a way to find a former colleague of Qiao Ruoliu, who had a good relationship with Qiao Ruoliu. Then he arranged for her to go to school. In his eyes, his relationship with Shi Mingwan was getting better and better. He could feel the starlight in the girl's eyes when she looked at him. He could also feel the closeness the girl had to him every night. She would fall asleep in his arms. She would cook every day and wait for him to come home. Under the light, she did her homework very seriously and attentively. He could tell that she liked school very much. Even though she had dropped a lot of homework, there was a smile on her face. She obviously liked school. Not only was she good at her studies, but because she could go to school, she took care of him even more attentively. Other than cooking, she actually knew how to change clothes. For a period of time, he even felt that other than being too young, they were no different from husband and wife at other times. Later, he looked at her in high spirits, and said that she wanted to be a fashion designer when she grew up. At that time, Shi Mingwan's eyes lit up. That was good. She did what she liked, and he did what he wanted to do. He let her go to school, and worked hard to help her realize her dream. And his methods outside became more and more ruthless, because he wanted to make himself stronger as quickly as possible. Everything went very smoothly. He thought that when his power grew stronger, when he took his revenge, Shi Mingwan would also grow up. Shi Mingwan had also grown up. At that time, they could really be together. What he didn't expect was that his rapid rise would provoke the big shot, Hui. He got someone to deal with him. That day, Shi Mingwan said very happily that she wanted to go play. He knew about Mount Qin. He had been there before when he was young, with his parents. To him, those memories had already become a wound that he didn't want to touch. But looking at Shi Mingwan's smiling face, he couldn't refuse. They went to Mount Qin, climbed the mountain and played. Everything was beautiful. She was happy, and so was he. He thought that this kind of happiness would last forever. However, when they went down the mountain, they met the big shots people. It wasn't just the big shots people. The people who came later were Zhang Kuan's people. When he was beaten to the ground and couldn't get up, he saw Shi Mingwan get kicked and her body flew out. At that moment his heart was broken. He was beaten to the point that he didn't have the strength to fight back. Not to mention that the other party had a weapon in his hand. And he was only one person. The moment he lost consciousness, he thought that he was dead for sure. His only regret was that this kind of life was indeed a dream. Not only could he not live a peaceful life, but he also implicated Shi Mingwan. If it was possible, he would definitely let her go back and live a peaceful and normal life. However, Zhang Haozi didn't expect that when he opened his eyes again, not only was he not dead, but he was also saved by someone. The person who saved him was Chen Feifei. Chen Feifei happened to see his face at that time. As a young girl, she was obsessed with looks and liked handsome people. At that time, Shi Mingwan fell behind the tree. Chen Feifei didn't see her at first glance. She only saw Zhang Haozi. She brought Zhang Haozi home. After Zhang Haozi woke up, he knew that he had been saved by Chen Feifei. And he also figured out the situation in the shortest time possible. Chen Yongchang's company could be considered to be of a large scale in Lin City. Although it couldn't compare to the Su family and the Li family, it still had some power. especially since Chun Yongchang's maternal family was in the province. It didn't take him long to realize that this was an excellent shelter, especially when Chen Feifei, who was still young, had an extraordinary liking for him. With the Chen family's power, he went to school, started a business, and developed his own power. Of course, he also gave the Chen family some feedback. This could be considered as taking what they needed. As for Shi Mingwan, she was suppressed in the corner of his memory and was no longer mentioned. Before he succeeded, before he had the ability, the further away he was from her, the safer it would be for her. What if Shi Mingwan was with another man? He thought that this was also good. There was nothing bad about it. At least it was safer and happier than being by his side. After all, the more he grew up, the more he understood what kind of giant the Zhan family was. With his current ability, he couldn't touch the Zhan family at all. He could only plan slowly. Take your time. Moreover, he was prepared. If he really couldn't do it, he would perish together with Zhan Kuan. No matter what, he had to take revenge for his parents and sister. But he really didn't expect that he would meet Shi Mingwan. In the hospital, she looked at him and called him dear brother, with such a surprised look in her eyes. At that moment, he could feel the impulse in his heart. It was a kind of breathtaking. He looked at Shi Mingwan and had a feeling that it was as expected. She had grown up and was so beautiful that it couldn't be compared. He had once imagined what that bright and smiling girl would look like when she grew up. He had imagined that she would be very beautiful when she grew up. But he didn't expect her to be even more beautiful than he had imagined. Seeing her call him dear brother with a face full of surprise, seeing her pounce over to acknowledge him with a face full of surprise, he almost agreed. But it was only almost. Those emotions were perfectly restrained by him. His path was a lonely one. He didn't need friends, nor did he need love. If he could resist not looking for Shi Mingwan for more than 10 years, he could force himself not to see her and not acknowledge her in the future. But time and time again, they met again and again, causing his heart to become more and more out of control. He tried hard to push her away, but she tried hard to make him admit his identity. Until that time, when he was drugged and lost control for a moment. No, it couldn't be considered to be out of control. He instinctively hoped that if he had to have a woman, that woman was Shi Mingwan. But this wouldn't do. From time to time, the people arranged by Qingqing would die in Zhan Kuan's hands. Zhan Kuan was careful when he did things, and never left any traces. Uncle Qi had followed him for decades, so there was no need to elaborate on his loyalty to him. If he hadn't borrowed the Chen family's power, it wouldn't have been as simple as just receiving a lesson. He was sometimes cold and sometimes warm toward Shi Mingwan, and he was sometimes distant. The impulse in his youth, the amazement after Shi Mingwan grew up. He wanted to push her away, but he was reluctant. He wanted to get closer, but he was afraid that it would make her feel unsafe. Qingqing's progress was considered smooth, but it was only on the surface. The Zhan family was too big, and with Zhan Kuan's support over the years, Zhan Lai's brothers, as well as his grandchildren, all had their own thoughts. The situation in the Zhan family was very chaotic, but because of Zhan Kuan's strength, it was firmly under control. He could only tear open the Zhan family bit by bit. During this process, all the coldness and neglect that Shi Mingwan felt from him were because he had no choice but to do it. He knew how much pain Shi Mingwan was in, but he couldn't say it. He couldn't say anything. When he had nothing, Shi Mingwan was willing to suffer with him. In such a dangerous situation, Shi Mingwan probably wanted to stay by his side even more. But he couldn't. He would rather stay away from her. He even seemed to be engaged to Chen Feifei. But he didn't expect that he had overestimated his self-control. When Xiao Qi, Wan Zianying and other men appeared by Shi Mingwan's side, he still couldn't restrain himself. He wanted to trap her by his side and make her belong to him completely from body to heart. He was a selfish man. If he didn't see Shi Mingwan, if he didn't see her, then he could really let her marry someone else and be with other men. But he couldn't. If he didn't get it, then it didn't matter if he lost it. But after getting it and then losing it, he found that he couldn't accept it. He could only destroy her with other men time and time again. He trapped her by his side time and time again, reminding her that she belonged to him. On the surface, he was very successful. But he knew that she wasn't happy. If he wanted her to be happy, he had to stop taking revenge. This was even more difficult for him. In a dilemma, he sped up his actions, but he discovered a new difficulty. He wanted John Kuen's life, but he didn't want to put himself in danger anymore. Because of Shi Mingwan, he still wanted to be with her, spend the rest of his life together, form a family together, and perhaps have 1 or 2 more children. So he hesitated. When Uncle Chi came looking for him, he decided to follow his plan. He wanted to get the Zhan family and make Zhang Kuen pay the price. As for him, he didn't want to get a single cent of the Zhan family. Wan. Zhan Haoze wrapped his arms around Shi Mingwan's waist and held her in his arms. I'm sorry. He didn't acknowledge her when she recognized him, and he didn't make it clear to her immediately. This was his pride, but it was also his selfishness. The tip of Shi Mingwan's nose was a little sore, and her eyes were swollen. She buried her face in his chest. She had received too much news today, and she didn't know how to react. She had always known that he was her dear brother, but she had never thought that one day he would admit it himself. I thought you would never admit it in your life. I'm sorry. Other than these 3 words, Zhan Haoze didn't know what else he could say. Shi Mingwan shook her head. How proud was he? She knew it before. Seeing that he never told her anything outside, she could roughly understand that in his heart, he always liked to put her in the position of a protector. I should have told you earlier. Shi Mingwan didn't care about what he said. Instead, what she cared about was another thing. She looked up at him with tears in her eyes. You said that if I didn't recognize you, you wouldn't have come to look for me? Yes. Even if I was with another man? Even if I got married and had children? Zhan Haoze's expression was a little subtle for a moment, but he still nodded. Yes. Shi Mingwan's eyes were even redder than before. Do you know that if you really did that, it would be the greatest cruelty to me? Wan. He knew. But he also believed that even if that was the case, she would live a good life. I've been looking for you for more than 10 years. But they all said that there's no such person as Qiaoze. She wrapped her arms around his waist tightly, as if seeking some comfort. I don't believe it, and I refuse to give up. Do you know why people from Song Seeking Studio are called Song Seeking? It's because I want to find you, my dear brother. Dear brother, ever since I saw you that year and was saved by you, in my heart, there's only one person I want to be with, and it's only you. Zhan Haoze looked at the sincerity in her eyes, and reached out to wipe away the tears at the corner of her eyes. He lowered his head and kissed her forehead. I know. If you know, why didn't you come to look for me? I want you to be happy. Without you, my happiness would be discounted. She had family, friends, and her own career. She could also live a good life, but her happiness would be missing a piece. That piece was something only he could give her. Who asked you to take away my first kiss? Who asked you to appear in my life? So you have to take responsibility. Okay. Zhan Haoze nodded. I'll be responsible for your life from now on. Shi Mingwan smiled. She buried her face in his chest and gently rubbed against it. Dear brother. Yes. Dear brother. Yes. Dear brother. Shi Mingwan had a surreal feeling, which made her keep calling him dear brother. Zhan Haoze couldn't help but lower his head and give her a deep kiss. Shi Mingwan took the initiative to cater to him, but not long after she reacted. She took a step back and looked at the tombstone beside her, a little embarrassed. It's okay. Mom and Dad will like you. As if he knew what she was thinking, Zhan Haoze's voice was a little teasing. This was the first time she had seen Zhan Haoze so relaxed and casual. She bit her lip, a little nervous. Has your trouble been resolved? It's all resolved. Once Zhang Kuen died, the fall of the Zhan family was inevitable. Of course, before the fall of the Zhan family, he had already broken the Zhan family's business into parts, and then reorganized it. In those few months, he only slept 3 hours a day. After his operations, the current Zhan family was already a brand new Zhan family without Zhan Kuen. All of Zhan Kuen's Zhan family no longer existed. The new Zhan family was formed by him, a brand new business kingdom. Shi Mingwan nodded. Dear brother, we'll be together forever, right? Yes. That's great. Shi Mingwan hugged Zhan Haoze again. I'll call you dear brother from now on, okay? Okay. Dear brother. Yes. Dear brother. Yes. I love you. Me too. Dear brother. Shi Mengwan suddenly raised her head and looked at him with a focused expression. What my mother said last time was a lie to you. My mother won't want me to get a son-in-law. I know. Father Shi had already said that Shi Mengwan didn't need to make any sacrifices. It didn't matter who she married, as long as she was happy. You have a very good pair of parents. You too. Shi Mengwan gripped his hand tightly and looked at the 3 tombstones. Dear brother. Dear brother, believe me, your parents must want you to live well. Not for him to take revenge, although he had already succeeded, but he believed that all parents in this world only wanted their children to grow up safely. Yes. I know. Zhang Haoze held her hand tightly. Let's go. Let's go down the mountain. He turned around and looked at the tombstones. Finally, he bowed, and when he raised his head again, there was a faint smile on his face. It was bright and sunny, completely different from the gloomy atmosphere of the past. Dad, Mom, don't worry. I'll live well. For myself, for you, and for Wanwan. Then goodbye, Auntie and Uncle. Shi Mengwan also bowed, but the way she addressed him attracted Zhang Haoze's objection. You should call them Mom and Dad too. Shi Mengwan blinked, as if she was a little embarrassed. In the end, she readily accepted his advice. Dad, Mom, Sister, goodbye. I'll come to see you with Haoze next time. Zhang Haoze smiled, held Shi Mengwan's hand, and left together. Wanwan. When they went down the mountain, Zhang Haoze suddenly called Shi Mengwan's name. Yes. I founded XM Company in Lin City. XM is just an abbreviation, but the Chinese meaning is to dream. I miss Mengwan. Shi Mengwan was stunned for a moment. She turned around and looked at him. There was a flash of surprise in her eyes. Dear brother? Thank you. Wanwan. Zhang Haoze stopped and looked at her. Thank you for waiting for me. Without her, he could still continue to take revenge. He could continue to live his own life. But at the same time, his happiness would also be discounted. Without Shi Mengwan, his life wouldn't be as perfect as it was now. However, Zhang Haoze didn't expect that it could be even more perfect than it was now. His wedding with Shi Mengwan was scheduled for October. They separated in October, so they chose to get married in October. After the wedding, they were supposed to go on a honeymoon. But unexpectedly, as soon as the wedding ended, Shi Mengwan vomited profusely. The nervous Zhang Haoze called the doctor to check Shi Mengwan's body, only to find out that she was already more than 2 months pregnant. Because she had been busy with the wedding and the studio, she didn't even know. Because of the severe morning sickness, Zhang Haoze, and she naturally couldn't go on a honeymoon. 7 months later, Shi Mengwan gave birth to a very cute baby girl. Zhang Haoze wanted a daughter wholeheartedly, and now his wish was finally fulfilled. He thought to himself that his life was truly perfect now. Chapter 711. When Li Qianxue entered the room, there were already several people sitting inside. Speaking of which, they had all worked with the Li Corporation before. Sitting at the head of the table was her ex-in-law, Qiu Yanba's father, Qiu Tonghe. They were all familiar faces: the Zeng family, the Song family, the Wu family, and the Chang family. Li Qianxue nodded at a few people and greeted them one by one. Then, she sat down in a seat near the head of the table. Today was a private banquet. No matter what, Qiu Tonghe was once his in-laws. Although the two of them weren't going to get married, they didn't want to become enemies. There was still a connection. Qianxue. Qiu Tonghe had a good relationship with Li Qianxue. In the past, they used to call each other in-laws. Now there was nothing wrong with calling each other by name. He asked Li Qianxue to sit down and poured her a cup of tea. Li Qianxue had been socializing a lot in the past 6 months. But everyone knew the rules. She usually didn't drink outside. Brother Qiu, if you have something to say, just say it. There's no need to be so polite. Even if she doesn't give face to Qiu Tonghe, she still has to give face to old Master Qiu. Then I'll be straightforward. What Qiu Tonghe wanted to talk about today had something to do with Hu Jinyao. Earlier, Madame Luo and Madame Song had teamed up with Su Peixian and accidentally injured Xiang Kaiping. At that time, no one knew that Xiang Kaiping was Su Qingsong's biological mother. Hua Jinyao didn't direct his anger at the Su family, but at the Luo family and the Song family. There was no need to mention the Luo family. The Star Luo department store had been acquired by the Tianyu Group. Now it was simply miserable. The Song family's Kasong Electronics was even more humiliated by Hua Jinyao. Look, it's been so long. Recently, Brother Luo has found some new connections, but your son-in-law is too powerful. They don't dare to give him the list. Qinxue. No matter what, they were family friends. Don't push things too far, don't you think? Chou Tongha didn't want to get involved in these things, but the Luo family and the Song family begged the Chou family. Now, only the Chou clan had some face in front of the Li clan. He had to give it to her. Li Qinxue knew about these things. When she came in and saw the Luo family and the Song family, she roughly guessed the other party's intentions. I can't make the decision on this matter. Qinxue, that's not appropriate. You're President Hua's mother-in-law. He has to listen to you, right? Not to mention the fact that Hua Jinyao isn't in Lin City right now. Even if he was, he might not listen to me. At the very least, shouldn't you be looking for Hua Jinyao now? Look, you said it yourself. President Hua isn't in Lin City. We can't find him even if we want to. Moreover, President Hua is still standing up for your daughter, isn't he? But Mrs. Luo and Mrs. Song did it for your other daughter. Li Qinshua's expression did not look too good. Of course she knew that. Speaking of which, Su Peijian was the one who started this. But what of it? Speaking of which, if it weren't for Mrs. Luo and Mrs. Song, Su Qingseng wouldn't have felt guilty towards Xiang Kaiping. In the end, she even almost refused to acknowledge her as her mother, and called Xiang Kaiping her mother instead. Thinking of this, Li Qinshu felt uncomfortable, and naturally didn't want to get involved in this matter. Qinshu, it's all in the past. Mrs. Luo and Mrs. Song also know that they were wrong. Besides, this has nothing to do with old Luo and old Song. Why don't you ask your son-in-law to be merciful, and let them go? Mr. Luo and Mr. Song, who were called out, began to smile apologetically. Li Qinshu felt bored. She couldn't eat at all in such a situation. She looked at the two of them. Okay. I'll tell Hua Jinyao not to deal with you in the future. However, if you do anything to provoke Hua Jinyao in the future, it's none of my business. Of course. How can I? I won't do anything stupid again. The two of them promised together. The matter was finally resolved. Chou Tongha wanted to ask someone to serve the dishes, but Li Qinshu couldn't eat anymore. She got up and left the hotel. She didn't want to go home. Li Qinshu sat in the car. The driver in front, Xiao Zhao, asked twice where she was going. In the end, she told him the name of a bar. It wasn't that she couldn't go home to drink, but it wouldn't be good if old Master Li saw her like this. Su Qingseng followed Hua Jinyao to Rong City. Su Yusin had already gone to school after getting into college. There were only her and old Master Li at home. It was fine during the day. Li Qinshu could focus all her energy on work. But at night she couldn't. As soon as she returned home, she couldn't help but think of some things in the past. Her sweet daughter, her obedient son. Although Su Qinghui didn't love her, he would come home every day. At that time, the family wasn't happy, but at least it wouldn't be as lonely as it was now. After entering the bar, Xiao Zhao couldn't hide the worry in his eyes. Li Qinshu just wanted to have a drink or two. At her age, what could she do? Wait for me. Come in and pick me up later. If it weren't for Xiao Zhao, she wouldn't have dared to go into a bar alone to drink. Beautiful women always attracted people's attention, even if this woman didn't look young. For Li Qinshu, age had added a different kind of sexiness to her. She ordered a glass of Bloody Mary and sat on the edge of the bar, drinking. Li Qinshu was born in a big family and had been carefully trained by old Master Li since she was a child. Her temperament really didn't fit in with the people around her. But it was this incompatibility that attracted the attention of many people. Before she finished a glass of wine, someone had already come over to strike up a conversation. Miss, can we have a drink together? No. Li Qinshu didn't even look back. She wasn't interested in knowing who the person was. Don't be so petty. How boring is it to drink alone? It's more interesting to drink together. As the man spoke, he reached out his hand to Li Qinshu. Before Li Qinshu could knock the man's hand away, Another hand was faster than her. Su Qinghui gently twisted the man's hand. He stood there, and his usually elegant face actually had a hint of fierceness at this moment. You, get lost. Su Qinghui's voice was very cold. The man withdrew his hand and took a step back. He wanted to leave like this, but he felt embarrassed, so he could only leave after saying some harsh words. Just you wait. Su Qinghui ignored the man's harsh words and turned to look at Li Qianxue. She had already finished the wine in her glass and ordered a second glass. When she picked up the glass, he blocked her movement. Qianxue stopped drinking. Who are you? Li Qianxue looked at Su Qinghui and raised her eyebrows slightly. The last time the two of them met was when she went to Rong City to visit Su Qingsang. It had been more than a month since then. After returning to Lin City, they were both in the mall. They would meet frequently. However, Li Qianxue had the ability to make herself ignore Su Qinghui. She had met him a few times when she came back, but every time, she completely ignored Su Qinghui. Su Qinghui knew how much she hated him. He felt helpless, but he couldn't let her keep drinking here. Qianxue, be obedient. If you want to drink, go back and drink. Li Qianxue's alcohol tolerance was not bad. A glass of wine was nothing to her. She looked at Su Qinghui's hand on her wrist, raised her hand, and easily waved it away. Be obedient? Who are you? Why should I listen to you? This was the second time she had said this. A flash of bitterness appeared in Su Qinghui's eyes. Qianxue, I don't think Dad would want you to do this, right? He didn't know what had happened to make Li Qianxue come out to drink, but he believed that old Master Li would definitely not agree. Who are you calling Dad? Su Qinghui, that's no longer your father. She was a little annoyed. The person she didn't want to see the most just now was Su Qinghui. If it weren't for his selfishness, the Li family wouldn't have had so many troubles later on. Thinking of this, she couldn't stay any longer. She withdrew her hand and stood up. Su Qinghui followed behind her. Qianxue, I'll send you back. No need. Li Qianxue stopped. Who said I'm going back? I'm just going to the bathroom. Qianxue. Su Qinghui didn't believe that Li Qianxue would be a person who would throw a tantrum. However, her actions in front of him really made him feel that she was throwing a tantrum with him. Su Qinghui, have you had enough? Li Qianxue looked at the worry on his face. She didn't feel touched. She only felt that it was hypocritical. Why? Are you worried about me now? Yes. Su Qinghui nodded. It's not safe for a woman to drink outside alone. Who said I'm alone? Xiao Zhao is outside. Li Qianxue's face was a little red because of the alcohol. She wasn't drunk. She knew that. She stood up straight and looked at Su Qinghui with a flash of mockery on her face. Also, you really don't have to worry about me. Let's not talk about the fact that I'm just your ex-wife. We're already divorced and have nothing to do with each other. To me, the person who hurts me the most in this world is you. If you're really worried about me, then don't appear in front of me. Otherwise, every time I see you, I'll feel uncomfortable. Su Qinghui's expression didn't look good. His eyes flashed with pain again. Qianxue, stop. Don't call me. I'm disgusted. Li Qianxue wasn't in the mood to continue drinking, and she didn't plan to stay any longer. Su Qinghui, I'll have to trouble you to put away the damn hypocrisy, guilt, and pain on your face. Because the person who should be in pain should be me, not you. Su Qinghui was stabbed by her words again. For a moment, his body couldn't help but tilt. Qianxue, yes. Stop. Li Qianxue really didn't want to hear that sentence. Don't say those 3 words. It's too degrading. Su Qinghui, what you've done makes me want to stab you 1,000,000 times. Don't say those 3 words in front of me. Really, when I hear them, I feel even more disgusted. Qianxue, do we have to be like this? No matter what, they had a child together in so many marriages. Was there really nothing good in her heart that she could miss and think about? No. Li Qianxue shook her head. If you don't appear in front of me, you won't have to do this, right? Su Qinghui stood still. From the time of the divorce until now, he actually knew what kind of person Li Qianxue was. He also knew that it was difficult for him to ask for her forgiveness, but every time he had to endure her words and attitude, it still made him feel pain. In the past, he was the one who made her suffer. Now it was the other way around. It was she who made him suffer. However, he would rather be mocked by her words than see her. Li Qianxue ignored him. She couldn't stay where Su Qinghui was. She couldn't stay for even a minute. After leaving the bar, Xiao Zhao was still waiting. Li Qianxue was about to get into the car when Su Qinghui came over again. Qianxue? Li Qianxue looked at his hand that was holding hers. If you don't let go, do you believe that I'll chop off your hand? Su Qinghui retracted his hand and took a step back because of her attitude. Qianxue, I came to see you today because I have something to tell you. What else can I have to say to you? Li Qianxue blinked. She was really curious. She thought that she and Su Qinghui had nothing to say to each other. Last time I saw Mayor Li, I think you should be more cautious about the Li Corporation's latest project. I heard that there has been a change in the plan. Li Qianxue paused for a moment. She knew about that project. It was one of the plans that she carried out independently after the Li Corporation stabilized in her hands. Had there been a change in the plan? She hadn't heard about it yet, but looking at Su Qinghui, she didn't like his current attitude. She suddenly approached Su Qinghui. Are you trying to curry favor with me? Qianxue, do you have to think that everything I do has a purpose and is so unbearable? Do you need me to think about how unbearable you are? Li Qianxue sneered. Don't you know how unbearable you are? Su Qinghui's expression didn't look good. Li Qianxue took a step back and retreated to the side of the car door. Su Qinghui, you don't get up early without benefits. Everything you do has a purpose. Don't think that I will appreciate your kindness just because you are trying to curry favor with me. Don't forget, Hua Jinyao is my son-in-law, and Mayor Li has a good relationship with him. If anything happens, Mayor Li will definitely inform me and only you. Qianxue, I really don't mean anything else. I just want to remind you. I thank you. Li Qianxue nodded, but in fact, she didn't appreciate it at all. The Li Corporation has nothing to do with you now. I have nothing to do with you anymore. So I don't need your reminder. I won't thank you either. She opened the car door. Before getting into the car, she glanced at Su Qinghui again. Based on what you have done, no matter what you do, I will never forgive you, so you can give up. I will never forgive you in this life. Please don't appear in front of me next time. That way, I can thank you for letting me have peace. After saying this, Li Qianxue got into the car without hesitation. Xiao Zhao sat in the front seat. When Li Qianxue saw his eyes in the rearview mirror, she glanced at him coldly. This is the last time. If there is a next time, you don't have to work in the Li family anymore. Xiao Zhao shrank his neck. At that moment, he was actually shocked by Li Qianxue's gaze. Madam, you can't blame me. Sir. No, what did President Su say? If you think Su Qinghui is better, you can help him drive. I don't mind. Xiao Zhao completely stopped talking. Li Qianxue didn't want to pay any more attention to him. She closed her eyes to rest. Thinking of what Su Qinghui had said just now, she was inexplicably even more annoyed. Ridiculous. Did he really think that she would forgive him? Dream on. Li Qianxue handed the document in her hand to her secretary, Yang Rong, and gestured for her to leave first. Then, she looked at Wei Ting, who had been sitting opposite her for a long time. Wei Ting, your current actions have already interfered with me. How could that be? I think you're ignoring me. Wei Ting looked at Li Qianxue and spoke with a hint of grievance. Li Qianxue resisted the urge to hold her forehead. She picked up the photo frame on the desk and faced Wei Ting. Do you see this? This is my grandson, my granddaughter. I'm already a grandmother, so you can stop wasting your time on me. It was a group photo. She, Old Master Li, Su Qingsang, Su Yusen, and their 2 children. The photo was taken last month, when Su Qingsang's twins were 1 month old. She and Su Qingsang sat on both sides of Old Master Li, each holding a child. Su Yusen stood behind them. Li Qianxue liked this photo very much. To her this was a real family photo. So she came back and had it washed and placed on the desk. So what? Wei Ting glanced at the photo and pointed at Li Qianxue. With you like this, even if you say you're their mother, people will believe you. Li Qianxue couldn't help but hold her forehead this time. She looked at Wei Ting. President Wei, I really still have business to deal with. Can you please leave first? But you haven't promised me to have dinner with me tonight. Wei Ting looked even more wronged. Today is my birthday. Are you that heartless? First, your birthday has nothing to do with me. Second, you also said that it was your birthday last week. Third, I really have something to do today. I have a social engagement tonight, so I refuse. First, I'm pursuing you. I want you to be my girlfriend, so my birthday has something to do with you. Second, I was on the Gregorian calendar last week. Today is the lunar calendar. Can't I? Third, if you want to go to a social engagement, I can accompany you. After all, how inconvenient is it for a woman to go to a social engagement alone? President Wei. Li Qianxue wasn't a sloppy person. The situation in front of her gave her a headache. If you insist on not leaving, I can only call the security guards to chase you away. Qianxue, you don't have to be so cruel to me, do you? I'm just a young man who admires you. Li Qianxue was so angry that she laughed. Yes, I'm already a grandmother, and you're still a young man. So it's impossible between us. Don't say that. People abroad are still together when they're in their 20s. You're only a dozen years older than me. I can accept it. But I can't. Li Qianxue was serious. I can't accept a relationship between an older woman and a younger man. Even if he's older than me by a day or an hour, I can't. Rules are dead, people are alive. Wei Ting was still trying to convince Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue was annoyed. She closed the document in her hand and looked at Wei Ting seriously. Last week, I met your mother by chance, President Wei. President Wei, if you stay here any longer, I don't mind asking your mother to come and take you away. Qianxue. Wei Ting's face fell. You don't have to be so heartless, do you? He was about to pretend to be pitiful when Li Qianxue's internal line rang. Li Qianxue didn't want to pay attention to him and pressed the answer button. Yang Rong said that Su Qinghui was here. I won't see him. They had just met yesterday. Why was he here today? Li Qianxue was inexplicably annoyed. Chapter 7:12. Li Qianxue looked at Wei Ting. She could tell at a glance what he was thinking. There's no need. You don't need to worry about me and him. If you have nothing else to do, please go ahead. TSK, Qianxue, you're not planning to give that heartless man a chance, are you? If that was the case, Wei Ting would really vomit to death. Su Qinghui was an old man. Even if he looked younger than his peers, how could he be as young and strong as him? Apart from anything else, he was more handsome than Su Qinghui, wasn't he? Wei Ting thought immodestly. What does that have to do with you? Li Qianxue looked at Wei Ting. She had a headache dealing with such a suitor, who was more than 10 years younger than her, and didn't know how to read people's eyes, and didn't know how to retreat. Don't cause trouble here. Let's go. Qianxue. Wei Ting wasn't a thin-skinned person. He placed half of his body on the table and looked at Li Qianxue with bright eyes. Good sister, just give me a chance. Look, don't you not like him and don't want to give him a chance? Isn't it better to use me to anger him? Wei Ting, are you too bored? It was the first time Li Qianxue had met such a slippery person. She didn't even know where to start. Do I need you to piss him off? You can't say that. With me, it'll be twice the result with half the effort. As Wei Ting spoke, he turned around to open the door. Li Qianxue had no time to stop them. Su Qinghui and Yang Rong appeared in front of her. Su Qinghui really had something to talk to Li Qianxue about today, but she didn't expect to see Wei Ting in Li Qianxue's office. Li Qianxue's suitor was a younger and more energetic man than him. His expression turned slightly ugly for a moment. He knew that he had no place in Li Qianxue's heart. Now, he refused to give up and stubbornly wanted to make a last struggle. He really knew his feelings. But even if he knew, he also knew that all of his martial arts were very difficult. For example, he had been working hard for the past year. However, no matter how hard he tried, Li Qianxue's heart was as hard as a knife. She refused to give him a chance. But Wei Ting was different. He was young and energetic. She didn't seem to mind that Li Qianxue was married, and was even a grandmother. In this way, Su Qinghui had a strong sense of crisis. Even if he knew that even without Wei Ting, Li Qianxue might not forgive him. However, with such a person around, the difficulty would undoubtedly increase. CEO Li. CEO Su said he has something to. Yang Rong stood at the back. In this situation, he didn't know if he should stop it, or how he should stop it. You can go out first. After Li Qianxue finished speaking, she looked at Wei Ting again. However, he did not respond. Instead, he walked in front of Su Qinghui. TSK, I say, aren't you guys divorced? How could he be so shameless? Can't you tell that Qianxue doesn't want to see you? Su Qinghui was getting older. Although he was not as angular as Wei Ting, he definitely did not lose in terms of aura. Well, if she doesn't want to see me, does she want to see you? Wei Ting choked. He almost choked on his own saliva. Su Qinghui, you. Am I wrong? Without saying anything more, just these 4 words were enough to make Wei Ting flustered and exasperated. He couldn't help but turn around to look at Li Qianxue, wanting her to stand up for him. Li Qianxue had a headache. How could she have the time to pay attention to him? Stop fooling around. Wei Ting wasn't really a child. Being looked at by Li Qianxue like she was looking at a child, he didn't feel good. He looked at Li Qianxue with a belly full of grievance. In fact, he wasn't young anymore. He was in his 30s, but Li Qianxue was older than him. Inexplicably, he felt like an elder. Seeing him like this, she couldn't bear to see him like this. Forget it, you can go back first. I'll look for you next time, okay? When Wei Ting heard this, his eyes immediately lit up. You said that? Then let's have dinner together tonight? No, I have a social engagement tonight. Let's do it tomorrow. Wei Ting nodded, unable to hide the joy on his face. Okay, you said it. I'll pick you up tomorrow. After saying this, he looked at Su Qinghui as if he had won the battle, and then left. Yang Rong stood at the door and closed it after he left. He thought to himself that the boss's charm was really not small. Not only did it make her ex-husband reluctant to let go, but even this new rich boss of Lin City, President Wei, couldn't forget about him. Su Qinghui's expression didn't look good. Especially when Wei Ting left, his provocative gaze made him even more uncomfortable. And Li Qianxue actually agreed to go on a date with Wei Ting. Although he couldn't control it, he still felt like his things were about to be snatched away. Even if Li Qianxue was no longer his, he couldn't control himself. Wei Ting isn't a good match. You should stay away from him. As soon as the words came out of his mouth with a somewhat preaching tone, he knew that he had said something wrong. Sure enough, Li Qianxue, who was sitting behind the desk, raised her head at this moment. Her eyes were cold and mocking. He's not a good match. You are? Su Qinghui was speechless. Looking at the gorgeous face in front of him, that had been treated well by time, he felt a toothache. He's so much younger than you. He doesn't look reliable and steady. If you really want to find one, you should choose one who looks more honest. Anyway, he didn't like this Wei Ting. No, it should be said that he didn't like all the men who were close to Li Qianxue. You're honest, but what happened in the end? Back then, when she was with Su Qinghui, old Master Li had never objected. After all, Su Qinghui looked very honest, steady and reliable back then. But how did Su Qinghui repay him? Su Qinghui was speechless. At this point he couldn't continue. His face was a little gloomy. He took a few steps forward and looked at Li Qianxue. There was a flash of regret in his eyes. In fact, regret surged in his heart from time to time, after he knew that he had fallen in love with Li Qianxue. The longer it took, the more uncomfortable it made him. Qianxue, I already know that I was wrong. I already know that I was wrong. Can you give me a chance? Li Qianxue looked up at him and saw the pain on his face. She only felt happy. Yes, you know that you were wrong. The murderer also knows that he was wrong after he went to prison. But is it useful? He's already dead. Su Qinghui's face turned pale. He was speechless at Li Qianxue's words. Li Qianxue felt bored. It was really boring. In the past, Su Qinghui's casual words could make her feel uncomfortable and heartbroken. Now that the roles were reversed, she didn't feel much accomplishment. If she was happy, it only proved that she still cared about this man. Since she didn't care anymore, why should she say more? If you have something to say to me, just say it. I have a meeting later. Her impatient tone made Su Qinghui depressed. She was really getting more and more impatient with him now. I'm here for the Li Corporation's latest project. Su Qinghui was serious. When he talked about business, he was always very serious. I got the exact news that the North District is not planned to be a business district. If the Li Corporation decides to build a residential building there, it is no longer suitable. Li Qianxue leaned gently against the back of the chair. She raised her head and looked at Su Qinghui. You came here for this? Yes. Su Qinghui nodded. The idle land in the North District was auctioned last week. The other party wants to build a factory on it. It is very inappropriate for you to build a residential building at this time. Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue didn't look nervous. I've already asked about the planning. The result is similar to yours. However, I have an appointment with Mayor Li tonight. So, I thank you for your kindness. Li Junxing was Hua Jinyao's childhood friend, so he would still give face to the Li family. Besides, it was just a piece of land. The Li Corporation had a lot of land in their hands. This project just had a suitable plan. If there wasn't one, it wasn't impossible to change to something else. Su Qinghui looked at the confidence and certainty in Li Qianxue's eyes, and his heart trembled slightly. Whether it was more than 20 years ago or now, Li Qianxue's appearance was extremely eye-catching. She was a natural radiant. Her charm had nothing to do with her age, but the confidence that emanated from within. He smiled bitterly in his heart. How could he forget? She was Li Qianxue, not an ordinary woman. Half of the credit for the Li Corporation's success today was due to her. How could she not have a way to deal with it? I don't want to be nosy. Su Qinghui's expression was a little bitter. I'm just worried about you. Su Qinghui had always been cold in front of Li Qianxue. It was polite to say that he was cold. He had always been indifferent to her to the point that it made one's hair stand on end. In front of her, he used such a tone to express his worry for her. Even though he had done this many times in the past year, Li Qianxue's mood couldn't help but become a little strange. It was still the same face, elegant and handsome. Age also treated him very well. He didn't have the stink of a businessman on him. Instead, he looked like a scholar. If he wore a pair of glasses and stood in a university lecture hall, people would believe that he was a professor. Back then, wasn't half of the reason why she was fascinated by him because he had a good appearance? Realizing that her thoughts were developing in an uncontrollable direction, Li Qianxue's expression didn't look good. We're already divorced. If there's nothing else, leave. She refused to give him any chance. Su Qinghui looked at her for a long time. She just lowered her head to look at the documents and ignored him. He couldn't help but walk around the large office desk to stand in front of her and turn her chair around to face himself. Qianxue. Li Qianxue pressed her body tightly against the back of the chair and looked at him expressionlessly. Qianxue. Before the divorce, he rarely called her by her name. Most of the time, he just treated the word you as a form of address. After the divorce, her name became a thorn in his heart. Every time he called it, it hurt more. I really regret it. He held her hand. Her hand was slender, and he wrapped her hand in his palm. His palm was much hotter than hers. He wrapped her hand tightly and looked down at her. Qianxue, let's start over, okay? He had already said the word sorry. If she didn't want to hear it, then he would say something else. He originally wanted to give her time to slowly calm down, until the damage could disappear without a trace. But Wei Ting's appearance today gave him a huge sense of crisis. Not to mention Wei Ting. Even any random man would be more competitive than him, because they had never hurt him. But he was the one who had hurt her the most. Qianxue. Li Qianxue was silent. She just looked at him. The office was very quiet. So quiet that it was almost strange. Su Qinghui. After pausing for nearly a minute, she finally spoke. When Su Peijian was 1 year old, she had just learned to walk. Of course, at that time, I didn't know that she wasn't my daughter. I was very happy. I watched her walk in your direction with her little feet, and you were also very happy. I saw you hug her. I saw you kiss her face, and at that time, there was a very loving smile on your face. At that time, I thought that even if you didn't love me, your love for your daughter was real. So when I returned to the room, I asked you, can we forget that unpleasant beginning and live a good life? Do you still remember how you answered me? Su Qinghui knew that if she opened her mouth, She definitely wouldn't say anything good, but the feeling of her pinching his weak spot made his heart tighten. You said that I'm not worthy, you said. Li Qianshua's expression didn't look good either. In fact, the conversation after that was really not good. She really didn't want to recall it. Su Chunghui, it's been so many years. The hurtful words you've said to me, and the things you've done to hurt me, are the nails you've nailed to a wooden stake. Even if you pull out those nails now, there will still be scars on the wooden stake, just like my heart. You've hurt me before, and then you apologize. My heart already has a scar that can't be erased. You can pretend that nothing happened. You can pretend that it's in the past. You can say that you want to start over. But I can't. Su Chunghui, you've been in front of me for more than a year. Do you know how much I hate you? Every time you appear, you remind me how many wounds I have and how painful they are. Qianxue. Su Chunghui was speechless. He didn't know what to say. His calm and rational mind, which had been in the business world for a long time, was completely useless at this moment. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I just can't let go. Su Chunghui, you said that you don't want to let go. Then tell me, how can I forgive you? Her hand was still wrapped by him. She held his hand and placed it on her heart. Here, even though it's no longer bleeding, it's already riddled with holes. Su Chunghui, tell me, how can I forgive you with such a broken heart? Under his palm was her soft heart. Beneath her skin, her heart was beating again and again. He could feel her heartbeat and the coldness in her words. His hand stopped there, not even daring to exert force. Li Qianxue didn't want to say any more. She wanted to twist his hand away, but he suddenly reached out and hugged her. He hugged her very tightly and very hard. Because she was sitting down and he was bent over, he buried his face in the crook of her neck when he hugged her. Li Qianxue frowned and her face was a little gloomy. However, at this moment, she felt the warmth on her neck and was stunned. She didn't move for a moment. She smelled faintly of roses. However, Su Chunghui in front of her didn't have any romantic thoughts at all. Qianxue, I don't need you to forgive me. He really didn't deserve forgiveness for what he had done. You just need to agree to let me guard you, okay? If you think your heart is dead, I can give you my heart. Okay. He looked up at her. His eyes were bloodshot, and there was a deep pleading look in them. Li Qianxue gently pushed his body away, and then stepped back, putting some distance between the two of them. Last month, Qingsong's child was 1 month old. Xiang Kaiping gave them a gift. Su Chunghui didn't understand what she meant by this sudden change of topic. Li Qianxue thought of the 2 sweaters she had accidentally seen. She felt a toothache and a faint jealousy. That's my daughter, my granddaughter. But she came to give me a gift, as if she had become a grandmother. Xiang Kaiping, I know. She's very good to Qingsang. Qingsang is a sentimental person. She always remembers the kindness others have shown her. But the more she remembers, the more uncomfortable I feel. Do you know why? Because all of this didn't have to be like this. I could have taken care of my daughter by myself. I could have treated her well by myself. But because of you, because of your selfishness and cruelty, someone else got ahead of me. Xiang Kaiping got ahead of me, and made a good impression on my daughter. People were like this. It was easy to be prejudiced. Xiang Kaiping appeared in front of Su Qingsang first. Even if Su Qingsang didn't have a mother-daughter relationship with her, she had cultivated a mother-daughter relationship with her. That was what she hated the most. She didn't need to say anything else. Su Chunghui understood everything. She didn't want to say it anymore. She turned around and picked up the document again, looking like she refused to talk anymore. Su Chunghui looked at her side profile and raised his hand to touch her several times. In the end he lowered it, turned around, and left rather weakly. The office fell silent again. Li Qianxue couldn't bear to look at the document in front of her anymore. She chased Su Chunghui away, but she didn't feel happy in her heart. Every time she fought with Su Chunghui, she actually hurt the enemy 1,000 times and hurt herself 800 times. Her hurtful words could hurt Su Chunghui, but they also made her constantly recall the past. She shook her head. Now, she only hoped that she wouldn't see Su Chunghui as much as possible. After all, every time she saw him, she really couldn't be in a good mood. Li Qianxue was still thinking about not seeing Su Qinghui in the future, but that night, when she met Li Junsheng, she saw him again. When she saw Su Qinghui sitting next to Li Junsheng, Li Qianxue's expression didn't look good. She instinctively wanted to leave, but Li Junsheng had already stood up. Auntie. Although Li Junsheng was the mayor of a city, in front of him were Hu Jingyao's father-in-law and mother-in-law. It wasn't appropriate for him to be arrogant in front of these two people. Mayor Li, you're too polite. Li Qianxue entered the door. Basic politeness was still necessary. Coincidentally, Uncle has some ideas about the project in the north of the city, so I asked him to come with me. Auntie, you don't mind, do you? They were all here. In front of her, apart from Li Junsheng, there was also Director Chen from the city construction and Secretary Li from the secretarial office. How could she say that she minded? Of course not. Chapter 713. He had seen someone he didn't want to see twice in one day. This made Li Qianxue's mood very bad, and she couldn't help but show some emotions on her face. If it wasn't for the fact that she saw that it wasn't small, she would still be able to suppress it. Especially now that there were outsiders around, she was able to maintain her composure. Mayor Li, Chief Chen, Secretary Li. After greeting them one by one, he sat down beside Li Junsheng. There was an empty seat next to it, and Su Qinghui's seat was just beyond it. As she sat down, she gestured for Director Chen and Secretary Li to sit down as well. Unexpectedly, Su Qinghui stood up and moved to the seat next to her. There aren't many people here. It'll be more lively if we sit together. He spoke calmly, but Li Qianxue was furious. Li Junsheng sensed that the atmosphere wasn't right. He smiled and tried to smooth things over. Yes, there are no outsiders here, so let's sit together. He had been in Lin City for more than 2 years. Director Chen's ability was quite good, and he was willing to give him a chance to guide him. Li Qianxue couldn't point out Li Junsheng's face. Although his seniority was lower, he was still the mayor of a city. She couldn't really lose face here. She resisted the urge to get up. After toasting Li Junsheng with a cup of tea and waiting for the dishes to be served, she first talked about the land in the North District. A large enterprise like the Li Corporation would always have a few pieces of land that were auctioned off. She had already planned to build a high-end residential area in that area, because he knew that a business district would be built near that piece of land. However, now that the plan had changed, and they were not going to build a business circle, the Li Corporation's idea of building a high-end residential area would have to change. Auntie, don't worry. It's not a big deal. Li Junsheng glanced at Bureau Chief Chen as he spoke. Bureau Chief Chen said, "Don't worry about this. The reason why the factory is being built in the North District is because Chief Gao of the Investment Promotion Agency has taken over a company. But now you know that when companies set up factories here, they have very strict environmental requirements. They didn't have a suitable piece of land, so they decided to go to the North District. But we haven't made a decision yet. Nothing has been decided yet." What if it's decided? Su Qinghui had heard that Director Gao was very good at attracting investment. The higher-ups also attached great importance to him. The company that Director Gao took in is a paper mill. As you know, paper mills usually cause a lot of pollution. As long as the city doesn't approve it, they can't build a mill on this land. Li Qianxue understood what Director Chen meant, but she thought of something else. But what if the other party do complete the procedures and do environmental protection? You guys don't worry. In the past few years, Lin City has been developing quite well. Many companies want to set up factories here. When the time comes, you can resell the land. It won't be a loss. Li Qianxue didn't think that way. This was the most helpless way. Ti Lin to Lin. Ti to Chen to Lin to Li City. However, Director Chen's words also made sense. Li Junsheng looked at Li Qianxue's face, which didn't seem to be very pleasant, and suddenly smiled. There is actually another way out. T to say to two that to Lin that there was not the Lin to Lin is T to have to say have. Lin to that has T Li, that thereby by has the to be to tut to him. I think it's feasible if you two join hands to build a large amusement park there. The Tianyu Group had experience in this area. The Li Corporation had done it before. When the two companies worked together, the project might not be profitable immediately, but it could greatly increase the Li Corporation's reputation. Li Qianxue was silent. That wasn't a good solution. She had thought about doing something else before, but in terms of income, it was easier to recover money in the short term by building a house. You guys are quite familiar with Tianyu. I've asked Jin Yao, and he thinks this plan is feasible. Thank you, Mayor Li. Li Qianxue knew that Li Qianxue was being kind. No matter what, the investment wasn't small. She would have to see the opinions of the board of directors. After dinner, Li Junxing didn't arrange any other projects, because he knew that he was older than Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui. He just told her not to worry. If there were any changes, he would inform her in time. With this guarantee, Li Qianxue was reassured. After saying goodbye to Li Junxing and the others, Li Qianxue left the restaurant. She took out her phone and planned to call Xiao Zhao and ask him to pick her up. Su Qinghui stood behind her and watched her movements. Let me give you a ride. No need. Li Qianxue didn't turn her head or look at him. It's not easy to park here. Xiao Zhao's car must be parked very far away. Why don't I give you a ride? It's not easy to park Xiao Zhao's car, but yours? It's just across the street. I'll give you a ride. No need. We're not that close. Li Qianxue continued to call Xiao Zhao, but before she could dial out, the phone rang first. It was Xiao Zhao. He said in a very urgent voice that his mother accidentally fell and was now in the hospital. He was rushing to the hospital and asked her if he could get another driver to pick her up if the dinner was not over. Since your mother is in the hospital, take care of her first. Li Qianxue had never been a mean boss. I'll get Xiao Yin to pick her up. After thinking for a moment, Li Qianxue added, see how the situation is. If it's serious, tell me my name and ask Director Zhou of City 1 Hospital to arrange someone for you. Okay, I will. Thank you, madam. After hanging up the phone, she was thinking of calling Xiao Yin. Su Qinghui took a step forward. The Li family is not close to here. It's not convenient for Xiao Yin to come out so late. Let me give you a ride. I can take a taxi. Li Qianxue took 2 steps outside as she spoke. Feeling Su Qinghui following behind her, she stopped. Her gaze swept over Su Qinghui, and the corners of her lips curled up with a hint of mockery. If I didn't know you well, I would have thought that Xiao Zhao's mother's fall had something to do with you. Su Qinghui's expression changed slightly, but only for a moment. Qianxue, are you complimenting me? Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue laughed. I didn't know that after the divorce, your skin has become thicker. If being thick-skinned can get you back, what's the harm in being thick-skinned for once? On the main road in the gentle night breeze, the man in front of her was wearing a dark suit and saying such words that sounded like a confession of love. Li Qianxue knew that Su Qinghui had changed a lot since the divorce, but the Su Qinghui in front of her still made her a little uncomfortable. While she was distracted, Su Qinghui reached out and took the bag in her hand. Let's go, I'll give you a ride. Li Qianxue didn't expect Su Qinghui to do this. She reached out to grab her bag. However, he put the bag in his other hand and held her hand with his free hand. Su Qinghui. They were on the main road, and Li Qianxue's upbringing prevented her from doing anything to him. Her hesitation gave Su Qinghui a chance. In just a short while, he had already taken her to the opposite side of the road, where he parked his car. Su Qinghui rarely drove by himself in the past. When he was in the Li family, he had a driver. After divorcing Li Qianxue, he began to slowly get used to doing some things by himself. He opened the car door and gestured for Li Qianxue to get in. Li Qianxue glared at him and reached out to take the bag in his hand. Qianxue, we're husband and wife. Even if you don't have any feelings for me now, we still have 2 children, right? Do you have to treat me like an enemy? Aren't we enemies? Li Qianxue stood still. From the day you replaced my daughter and made her an illegitimate daughter, we were already enemies. Su Qinghui's face froze, and then he smiled bitterly. Qianxue, if you really treat me as an enemy, what you have to do now is to think of ways to torture me and take revenge on me. That makes me unhappy, isn't it? Do you think I haven't thought about it? The reason why I don't take revenge on you isn't because I don't hate you, nor is it because I can't do it. It's because I still want to take care of the child. I'm not like you. I can't be so biased and cruel to my own child. There was no way to talk about this. Su Qinghui knew that Li Qianxue had always been a person of her word. He also knew that in her heart, he had already been isolated from her. Get in the car. He didn't try to explain or defend himself anymore. Some things were done, and they were done. If she didn't understand, then so be it. The more he explained, the more unsightly he looked. Since that was the case, there was no need to explain. It's getting late. I'll send you back first. His sudden change in attitude made Li Qianxue unable to say the sarcastic words that she wanted to say. Looking at the bag in Su Qinghui's hand, Li Qianxue got into the car. Su Qinghui followed her into the car. The car was very quiet. Li Qianxue had nothing to say to him. The car drove in the direction of the Li family. Not only was Li Qianxue familiar with this road, but Su Qinghui was also familiar with it. Li Qianxue didn't want to face him, so she turned her face out of the car window and pretended to look at the scenery. Just now at the dining table, she drank a glass of wine. With her alcohol tolerance, she naturally didn't get drunk. However, during this period of time, she had a lot of work on her hands, so she could be considered very busy. The Li family was near the suburbs, and the journey wasn't short. Su Qinghui was used to driving very slowly, and Li Qianxue actually unknowingly felt sleepy. Su Qinghui's car stopped 10 minutes away from the Li family's house. He had just realized that Li Qianxue had fallen asleep, and she seemed to be in a deep sleep. He parked the car by the side of the road and didn't turn on the interior lights. He just looked at Li Qianxue with the light from the road outside. In the past, the two of them had actually had many opportunities to sit in the same car. In the past, no matter how hard he tried to convince himself that he didn't love her. However, as the president and general manager of the Li Corporation, they had to face many situations together. In the past, every time they got into the car, she would sit on one side, and he would sit on the other. There was a large distance between the two of them. In the beginning, she would actually take the initiative to approach him. She would snuggle up to him and talk to him about the company and the children. However, at that time, he thought that he hated her and didn't pay much attention to her. No matter what she said, he ignored her. After a long time, she didn't get close anymore. Of course, she still talked. After all, with their positions, not to mention the two children, there were also many things to discuss in the company. However, they really didn't have much time to attend events together. Therefore, at this time, those memories became even more precious. Now he wanted to hear her continue. He wanted her to smile at him and talk to him like before. But it was already too difficult. He raised his hand and inched closer to her face. She had taken good care of herself. Even at this age, not to mention spots and fine lines, it was rare to see a single pore on her face. His hand got closer and closer, and finally, it was placed on her face. It was as smooth and delicate as he had imagined. He just put it there and didn't do anything else. When he really touched the person he missed, he realized that his regret was deeper than he had thought. Why was he so stubborn? Why didn't he see his heart clearly earlier? If he had known that he would have such a day, he definitely wouldn't have done those things. However, there were no ifs. Looking at Li Qianxue, who was asleep and unaware, Su Qinghui's emotions were a little turbulent. He couldn't help but move his face closer and closer. Those red lips that were inches away from him made him move closer and closer, as if he was possessed. It was also at this moment that Li Qianxue suddenly opened her eyes. The moment she opened her eyes, she saw Su Qinghui's enlarged face in front of her. There was also his hand on her face, and his lips that were almost touching hers. Without thinking, Li Qianxue raised her hand and slapped Su Qinghui's face. With a paw sound, Su Qinghui was hit squarely by her. She had just woken up and was in a daze, so her hand wasn't strong. Su Qinghui was hit, and his face tilted slightly, but that was all. "Do you want to hit this side as well?" he said. "That way, it'll be symmetrical." Crazy. Li Qianxue couldn't bear it anymore. She really raised her hand and was about to slap the other side of his face. Su Chinghui grabbed her hand. He didn't use much force, just holding her and not letting her move. Sorry, I just couldn't help it. She couldn't help it. Li Qianxue pulled her hand back, and the coldness on her face didn't diminish. Yes, you couldn't help it. So you came to take advantage of me? Su Chinghui, you're really good. Well, this was his fault. Su Chinghui couldn't be bothered to explain anymore. He directly grabbed the hand that was about to leave, and his face was a little more serious than before. Qianxue, I think there are still other ways to solve the new project in the North District, even if we don't cooperate with the Tianyu group. He suddenly got down to business, which made Li Qianxue a little uncomfortable. She pulled her hand back and looked at the person in front of her. What way? Li Qianxue's expression calmed down a little. Today, it seemed that she had received Li Juanqing's guarantee, but in fact, every change would bring about a new change in the plan. She had personally participated in the planning of the residential area in the North District. She was not in a good mood when the plan suddenly changed. She didn't expect Su Chinghui to have a way. Chapter 714. In the night breeze, under the streetlight, she stared at him with a burning gaze. This had not happened for a long time. Su Chinghui almost couldn't help but want to hold her in his arms. In the past, he had never thought of getting close to her. But now he always wanted to find an opportunity to get close to her. 10 years to the east, 10 years to the west. Su Chinghui. Li Qianxue couldn't wait for an answer. She had already lost her patience. If you don't want to say it, then say it. In any case, it wasn't a big deal. At most, they would lose a few $100 million. It wasn't that the Li Corporation couldn't afford the loss. However, it would take a lot of effort to convince the shareholders. You don't want me to tell you my plan on the street, do you? Su Chinghui gently withdrew his hand, and the smile on his face was faint. In just a few seconds, he had returned to his usual elegant appearance. Where are you going to say it? You should know that I don't have the habit of eating supper. Li Qianxue paid great attention to health. Not to mention that the Li family usually ate light food. At night, apart from occasionally eating a bowl of bird's nest to calm her nerves, she did not eat anything else. If Su Chinghui wanted to find another place to talk, she might not be willing to listen. Why don't we go to your office tomorrow and talk in detail? Li Qianxue found it hard to laugh. Su Chinghui, I didn't know you were so shameless. How is that shameless? Su Chinghui's expression was sincere. I care about the Li group. I just don't want you to suffer losses. Huh? Li Qianxue sneered. Haven't I suffered enough at your hands? Yes, quite a lot. Su Chinghui admitted frankly. Half of his body crossed the car seat and moved closer to Li Qianxue. That's why I hope to have a chance to make up for it. Sweet words and charming beauty. Li Qianxue was unmoved. Her appearance was gorgeous. Even at her age, it only made her look a little calmer and more noble than young women. The coldness in her eyes didn't make Su Chinghui retreat. On the contrary, it made him even more annoyed and eager to redeem himself. Do you want to know my plan or not? Su Chinghui held her hand. According to my plan, the proposal can still be used. The Li Group will not suffer any loss. The Li Corporation won't suffer any losses now. But the profits will be discounted. What if I can guarantee that not only will the Li Corporation's income not be discounted, but it will be even better than your original plan? Li Qianxue was about to pull her hand back, but she stopped because of Su Chinghui's words. Although she hated this person now, she had to admit one thing. That was Su Chinghui's means and ability. They had been married for more than 20 years. She had followed him all the way to bring the Li Corporation to where it was today. Naturally, she knew it. Su Chinghui, you have to know that the Li Group today doesn't care about the loss of hundreds of millions. What makes you think that I would give you a chance to get close to me for a piece of land? It's true that the Li Corporation doesn't care, but if you want to convince those shareholders, you'll have to spend a lot of effort. With me around, I can help you avoid these troubles. Why not? Li Qianxue sat still. Su Chinghui leaned forward a little more. If it's my proposal, it can double the profits of the Li Group. I think those shareholders will not only not make things difficult for you, but they will also thank you, right? There was silence in the carriage. Li Qianxue knew that what he said was the truth. In fact, the shareholders of the company had some complaints about Su Qinghui leaving the Li Group. After all, the benefits of the shareholders had increased every year since Su Qinghui took over the Li Group. In the year that Li Qianxue took over, there naturally wouldn't be any big trouble. However, Su Qinghui was in charge of some of the businesses before. She did spend a few months to bring the company on the right track and appease the shareholders. Qianxue, can't you believe me just once? Li Qianxue looked at the enlarged face in front of her. She suddenly retracted her hand and leaned against the back of the chair. Take me home. No objection meant that she agreed. Li Qianxue had always valued the Li Corporation. In her heart, other than her family, only her own company could make her care about it. Su Qinghui was more or less relieved. He was afraid that Li Qianxue wouldn't even take the Li Corporation seriously. At that time, he would really be in trouble. Seeing Li Qianxue turn her face to look at the street view, Su Qinghui inexplicably leaned over and kissed her on the cheek. When Li Qianxue glared at him, he quickly sat up straight and started the car. Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue hadn't been so angry for a long time. Don't go too far. Yes. I'll be careful next time. Su Qinghui turned to look at her. Next time, I'll definitely ask for your permission. Who would agree to such a thing? Since you didn't object, I'll take it that you agreed. Li Qianxue was about to flare up again, but she realized that she had taken the initiative to talk to him. Annoyed, she turned her face away from him. The car stopped at the Li family's villa. Su Qinghui's car didn't want to enter the villa, but the villa's sensor door directly opened when it scanned his car license plate number. Su Qinghui drove in just like that. This action made Li Qianxue quite angry again. She was going to tell Uncle Zhang tomorrow to delete Su Qinghui's license plate number from the database, so that he wouldn't be able to enter again. We're here. Su Qinghui stopped the car and found that Li Qianxue was still angry. He looked calm on the surface, but his heart was actually very bitter. I'll go to your office tomorrow afternoon to look for you. Li Qianxue didn't want to talk to him anymore and got out of the car. Qianxue, Su Qinghui suddenly called out to her. She stopped in her tracks and didn't turn around. Good night. Sweet dreams. Li Qianxue had a headache. She quickened her steps and quickly went into the main residence. Unexpectedly, when she entered the door, old Master Li was still awake. Recently he had liked playing chess. He had gone to Rong City a few times and played chess with old Master Hua. The two of them were equally good at chess. There were wins and losses in the game. In the past they didn't interact much. Now that he had great-grandchildren, he would probably have to go to Rong City more often. Therefore, he was especially willing to spend time in this area. Qianxue, come. What's your next step? No matter how emotionally Qianxue was outside, when she returned home and faced her old father, she restrained her emotions. Let me see. She walked to the chessboard and stood still. Before she could ask, old Master Li stared at the chessboard and spoke without raising his head. Did Qinghui send you back? Li Qianxue was stunned. She knew that old Master Li had seen it, so she didn't deny it. Yes. We're fine. Li Qianxue sat down opposite him. She picked up the black piece and placed it on the chessboard. I had an appointment with Mayor Li today. He happened to be there. When I came back, Xiao Zhao had something to do. He said he would send me back. Old Master Li picked up the white piece and placed it on the chessboard. Yes, we met by chance. But he has been courting you very hard this year, hasn't he? Li Qianxue's expression almost changed. Dad, which eye of yours saw him courting me? No. Old Master Li finally raised his head to look at her. You went to Rong City, and he went to Rong City. You asked Mayor Li, and he also asked Mayor Li. Isn't it the same as sending you home? He went to Rong City to see Qingseng, not for me. As for the appointment with Mayor Li, his new company also has a lot of things to deal with. What does it have to do with me? So you don't plan to remarry? Of course not. Li Qianxue raised her voice. Even if I don't get married in this life, I won't get involved with him again. Old Master Li was silent and looked at the chessboard in his eyes. It's fine, but it's impossible not to get married. I heard that there is a young man who has been courting you very hard. Dad, where did you hear that? Why not? The other party helped our company upgrade the software, and he could have left after the upgrade. In the end, he came to our company every day to fix the loopholes in the company's website and treat us to meals. Isn't that courting? Dad, it's impossible for me and Wei Ting. Don't think too much. Maybe not. Bring him to me next time. I'm not that kind of stubborn old man. If I really like him, a few years difference doesn't matter. Dad, is that a few years difference? A dozen years difference. If it were in ancient times, I could be his mother. What are you thinking? Marriage is free, love is free. Look at that French president. Didn't he also find someone much older than him? Dad. Li Qianxue found that she couldn't communicate with old Master Li anymore. Alright, I know my own business. Don't worry about it. I don't want to worry about you either. It's just that I'm old. Yusin went to school. Although he said that he would come back in a few years. When he came back, he would probably have a family. Qingseng is far away in Rong City. Even if the transportation is convenient, the number of times you can meet is limited. It doesn't matter if I'm old. But I also want you to have someone by your side. I don't know what I can help you with, but it's good to accompany you and take care of you. If you don't like Qinghui and that young man, many of the families of some family friends have lost their wives. You can see when the time comes. If you meet someone suitable, you should find another one. Li Qianxue's lips moved. She looked at the white hair on old Master Li's head. She was about to agree, but the words that came out of her mouth changed, and in the end, there was still some resistance. Dad, it's easy for you to say that. Find someone to take care of me. Let's not talk about the fact that I don't need anyone to take care of me. Even if I really find someone like Su Qinghui, haven't I had enough of him for the past 20 years? Old Master Li was speechless, and his expression didn't look good for a moment. Li Qianxue softened her tone. Dad, don't worry about my matters. It's good that it's like this now. Besides, my children are all grown up. I'm really not in the mood. There was a hint of guilt in old Master Li's eyes. In the end, once bitten, twice shy. You've been hurt by Qinghui. If you say so, then so be it. Li Qianxue didn't deny it. My passion has been exhausted. If you really want me to love someone and be with someone now, I really can't get excited. So Dad, don't worry about my matters for now, okay? I'm an old person. I can take care of myself. I also know what's good for me. Old Master Li had nothing to say. The father and daughter looked at each other without saying anything. In the end, Li Qianxue went upstairs to rest. Standing at the door, still holding Li Qianxue's bag in his hand, Su Qinghui, who was thinking of bringing her in. He stood at the door, which was not tightly closed, and heard the entire conversation between the father and daughter. However, the expression on his face was very complicated. Li Qianxue couldn't get up to look for someone else, which was a good thing for him. At least it meant that before he won her back, she wouldn't let anyone else enter her heart. However, when he thought that the person who made her like this was him, Su Qinghui's heart suddenly ached faintly. His heart felt as if it was being pricked by a thin needle. It was stuffy and stinging. He hung the bag in his hand on the handle of the door. Su Qinghui didn't go in again. He turned around and left quietly. Li Qianxue entered the company early in the morning. She had a regular meeting to attend. After the meeting, she agreed to have lunch with the cooperative factory at noon. After lunch, she took a nap. She had always had the habit of taking a nap. Therefore, there was also a small lounge attached to the office. It wasn't big, but it had everything inside. Yang Rong knew her habit, so she never bothered her when she was asleep. However, today was an exception. Su Qinghui came and said that he had made an appointment with Li Qianxue yesterday. Yang Rong knew that the two of them weren't on good terms now. However, since Su Qinghui said that, she definitely had to report it. Su Qinghui didn't stand on ceremony and just followed behind her. Li Qianxue's body was considered healthy among her peers. It was just that her blood pressure was a little low. Every time she woke up, she wouldn't be able to get up for a while. She would have to wait for a while before she slowly woke up. Yang Rong knew her habit, and Su Qinghui naturally knew it too. In the past 20 years, Su Qinghui didn't care about Li Qianxue. So he didn't care about her health. He knew that Li Qinxue had low blood pressure because one time last year, Li Qinxue woke up dizzy and staggered 2 steps. Later, the family doctor came over to check and told him. He followed Yang Rong into the door and saw that Li Qinxue had just sat up. Yes, what's the matter? Her eyes were half open as she looked at Yang Rong in front of her. She had been Li Qinshue's secretary for many years, so Li Qinxue naturally trusted her. President Su came over and said that he has something to talk to you about. President Su. Li Qinxue covered her mouth and yawned. Which President Su? President Su, President Su. He said that he made an appointment with you yesterday. Yesterday? Li Qinxue remembered that Su Qinghui said yesterday that he had a plan that could increase the income of the land in the North District by hundreds of millions. Yes. Let him in. Yang Rong received a definite answer and didn't ask any more questions. She turned around and realized that Su Qinghui had actually followed her in. Her lips moved slightly, thinking that they were once husband and wife and had seen everything. She didn't stay any longer. She gestured to Su Qinghui and left. Li Qinxue sat there. Just now, Yang Rong had blocked most of Su Qinghui's body, so she didn't notice that he had come in. When she woke up, she thought of Su Qinghui's visit. Her brows furrowed, and she was a little unhappy. Thanks to Su Qinghui's kiss yesterday, Li Qinxue didn't sleep well last night. Throughout the night, the dreams came back and forth. Most of them were from the past 20 years, but in the past year or so, Su Qinghui had repeatedly approached her. She didn't do what she had told old Master Li. Instead, she felt that Su Qinghui's repeated appearances had disrupted her normal pace. This made her very unhappy. Su Qinghui appeared in front of her at this moment. She had just woken up, and her hair was a little messy. It was draped behind her head. Naturally, she couldn't wear a coat when she slept. The shirt inside was already wrinkled. At this moment, she was looking at him with a slight frown. Su Qinghui couldn't help but take a step forward and stand in front of her. Qinxue. His low voice was filled with affection. In fact, he had seen Li Qinshue's more casual appearance at home. But at that time, he felt that he hated her. So no matter what she looked like, she didn't enter his eyes. The situation in front of him was reversed. In his eyes, the unconscious Li Qinsue in front of him was somewhat cute. If you're sleepy, sleep a little longer. His voice was very soft, and it sounded extremely gentle. However, Li Qinsue woke up because of his words. She stood up and looked at the person in front of her. Why are you here? Her face changed too quickly, especially the obvious disgust in her eyes. Su Qinghui's heart was stifled. We made an appointment yesterday. Have you forgotten? As he spoke, he waved a folder on his hand. Li Qinsue also remembered at this moment, but her expression didn't look much better. You go out first. Su Qinghui rarely came to this lounge in the past. Now that they were divorced, it was even more unnecessary. Su Qinghui didn't intend to provoke her here. Okay, I'll wait for you outside. After he left, Li Qinsue went to the bathroom next door with a rather ugly expression. She washed her face as quickly as possible and tidied herself up. When she went out again, she returned to her usual coldness. She walked to the desk and sat down. After pressing the internal line and asking Yang Rong to bring in 2 cups of tea, she glanced at Su Qinghui. You can speak now. Su Qinghui didn't beat around the bush with her. He directly pushed a plan in front of her. Li Qinsue glanced at him and reached out to pick it up. She casually flipped through 2 pages, and her expression changed from casual to serious. She was so focused that she didn't notice when Yang Rong brought the tea in. Yang Rong looked at her and quietly went out again. When she left, she didn't forget to quietly close the door. Li Qinsue read the plan very carefully from beginning to end. Finally, she placed the plan on the table and pressed one hand on it. Who planned it? Did you do it? I did it. However, 2 newcomers from the company also gave me some suggestions. Li Qinsue didn't say anything. According to Su Qinghui, no matter what was built in the empty land next to the North District, it wouldn't affect it. More importantly, this plan was better than the one previously proposed by the planning department of the big corporation. She glanced at Su Chenghui with a complicated expression. She was initially attracted to Su Chenghui because of his ability. Speaking of which, neither of the two elders of the Su family was in business. Su Chenghui's mother was a nurse, and his father was just an ordinary employee. However, Su Chenghui was particularly talented in business. This was indeed something that others couldn't be envious of. This plan was indeed not bad. In addition, with the help of the Tianyu group, the two families would develop it together. The benefits in the future would definitely be considerable. Hua Jinyao was her son-in-law. She didn't need to worry about whether he was willing or not. Your conditions? Su Chenghui glanced at her, as if he didn't understand what she meant. I said, what are your conditions? Li Qianshua's expression was serious, and there was a hint of seriousness on her face. You know this plan of yours very well. It's indeed very good. So what are your conditions? Su Chenghui didn't answer her question. Instead, he said as if he was asking for credit. Just not bad? I thought you would say that my plan is perfect. Su Chenghui. Li Qianshua didn't want to give him such a high hat. Tell me directly, what are your conditions? If it had been someone else, she would have praised the person who had written the plan. However, if that person was Su Chenghui, then forget it. Qianshua, can't I give this plan to you? You're being unaccountably solicitous. Li Qianshua didn't say the second half of the sentence, but Su Chenghui understood. He smiled bitterly. Her attitude really gave him a headache. My company has just started. Although it has been developing well recently, I can't handle such a plan. You should know this as well. Of course, Li Qianshua knew. She also knew that although Su Chenghui's company had been developing well for more than a year since his divorce, such a big project was really too big for his new company. So you're trying to say that you're going to give me such an almost perfect plan for free? I'm not saying that I'm giving it away for free. I want a chance. While Su Chenghui was still thinking about how to choose his words, Li Qianshua let go of his hand and pushed the plan back in front of him. I'm sorry. I can't give you the chance you want. Qianshua. Su Chenghui was stunned for a moment. Li Qianshua sneered, and the expression on her face had changed to one of displeasure. You want me to give you a chance with a plan? Su Chenghui, do you really think you're so shameless? Not to mention that she had no intention of getting back together with him. Even if she did, she was very dissatisfied with his use of the opportunity to threaten her. Qianshua, in your heart, is my character so despicable now? Almost. Li Qianshua's expression was cold. I won't say much else. I won't agree to your conditions. You can go. Su Chenghui sighed. Li Qianshua's personality was daring. In the past, he felt that she was very clear about love and hate, but now he was very annoyed. It was very difficult to change her mind. I'm talking about a chance. I mean, if possible, can I also participate in this project? The Li Corporation and Tianyu Group eat the meat, and our small company can just follow behind and drink some soup. This time, it was Li Qianshua's turn to be stunned. In fact, Su Chenghui's request was completely reasonable. He was the one who planned this case, so it was understandable that their company wanted to get involved. It wasn't too much for him to say this, but Li Qianshua was thinking of another thing now. If she agreed, then for a long time, she and Su Chenghui would definitely have to interact with each other because of work matters. This was something she didn't want to see. Li Qianshua was silent for a moment. Su Chenghui seemed to know what she was thinking. He pushed the plan in Li Qianshua's direction again. Qianshua, you should know that with the current conditions of the Li Corporation and the help of Tianyu Group, plus this plan, how much benefit will it bring to the Li Corporation? If you don't agree because of me, the shareholders will probably be unhappy, right? That's my business, not yours. The Li family accounted for the majority of the shares. She believed that even if the shareholders were unhappy, they wouldn't dare to make things too difficult for her. Chapter 7:15. Li Qianshua looked at the leisurely expression on his face and gritted her teeth secretly. After sharing a bed with Su Chenghui for more than 20 years, how could she not understand that this was just his way of provoking her? If she really agreed, she would have to deal with Su Chenghui a lot in a short period of time for such a big project. Seriously speaking, this land was bought by Su Qinghui before he left the Li Corporation. Later, because of the cooperation with Tianyu Group on several projects, the use of this land was temporarily put on hold. Su Qinghui obviously knew this, so after the Li Corporation came up with his own plan, he took out the plan in his hand again. He was probably waiting for this day. For this day, he had really put in a lot of effort. She didn't speak with a cold face. She was in a bad mood, so her face naturally showed some emotions. If possible, she didn't want to see Su Qinghui. But he was right about one thing. She was indeed a person who separated public and private interests. She wouldn't let her personal emotions affect the company's operations. Letting Su Qinghui leave the company was already one of the few times she couldn't separate public and private interests. Qianxue, you didn't lose anything, did you? Su Qinghui looked into her eyes and didn't mind continuing to persuade her. In fact, you and I both know that even if you cooperate with Tianyu Group, it will be more convenient for me to do some things. After all, after so many years, I know the relationship between the Li Corporation as well as you do. Don't make it sound like I can't do it without you. And the Li Corporation can't operate without you. Of course it can. Su Qinghui didn't deny it. However, just take it that I don't want you to be too tired. So, wouldn't it be better for me to do these things? You make it sound so dignified as if you didn't benefit from it. Yes, I benefited. Su Qinghui smiled. His face exuded a sense of elegance. The older a man was, the more popular he was. This was also true for Su Qinghui. The Su Qinghui in front of her was still the Su Qinghui. But in the past year, he had changed a lot. The most obvious point was that he smiled in front of her a lot more than before. In her memory, Su Qinghui always had a cold face, and he always spoke to her in a neutral tone. Now Su Qinghui always smiled in front of her from time to time. Sometimes, her expression was obviously very ugly, but he could ignore it. She was not used to Su Qinghui's behavior. Li Qianxue stepped back a little without a trace. However, there was a chair behind him, and he had nowhere to retreat to. Su Qinghui didn't feel depressed or unhappy when he noticed her dodging. It would be abnormal if she could accept him so easily. So Qianxue, do you agree to my suggestion now? This is a suggestion? This is clearly a threat. Li Qianxue stood up to avoid his approach. She stepped back from the back of the office chair and looked at him. Su Qinghui, stop beating around the bush. I know what your goal is. You did a good job with the planning. I admit it. But your goal will fail in the end. Even if you agree, don't forget, since you're so worried that I'll be tired, I can just wash my hands of it, can't I? In short, she just didn't want to have a chance to meet him. She wanted to keep a distance from him. Su Qinghui understood. Yes, you can wash your hands of this. I don't want to use this to achieve anything. As for convincing you to change your mind, I can take my time. I can take my time. Li Qianxue was not used to Su Qinghui's constant confession of his love to everyone. This unfamiliarity made her automatically delete and block all of Su Qinghui's words. Instead, she treated everything he said as his flowery words, and didn't take it seriously at all. If you have nothing else, you can leave. Qianxue, are you burning the bridge after crossing it? Su Qinghui seemed to sigh helplessly. Okay, then I'll leave first. Qianxue, I'll get someone to print out the contract tomorrow. I'll come to you to sign it. Li Qianxue pursed her lips into a straight line. At this moment she suddenly regretted it. No matter how perfect the plan was, so what if it was worth hundreds of millions? When she thought of meeting Su Qinghui and reconnecting with him, she immediately felt her entire mood begin to become gloomy. Su Qinghui, however, seemed to be completely unaware of her struggle. Qianxue, if you feel that any part of the contract is inappropriate and want to change it, you can tell me. You have my phone number. Even if there's nothing else, if there's anything else you want me to do, I can do it. Li Qianxue was impatient to listen to his sweet words. In the past, she couldn't hear them even if she wanted to. Now, no matter how much he said, she wouldn't believe him. The door is over there. Please go ahead. After Su Qinghui left, Li Qianxue focused all her attention on work. She finally got rid of the depression brought about by the matter of working with Su Qinghui. However, When she was about to get off work, another person who gave her a headache came. Wei Ting appeared in his office with a large bouquet of roses in his arms. Looking at the extremely exaggerated bouquet of 99 roses, Li Qianxue really felt a headache coming on. Seeing her expression, Wei Ting took a step forward at the right time with a fawning expression on his face. Qianxue, you didn't forget, did you? I made an appointment with you yesterday to have dinner together tonight. Li Qianxue didn't lose her memory, so she naturally remembered what she had agreed to in order to send this person away yesterday. Flowers for a beauty. Wei Ting handed the roses in his hand to Li Qianxue. The smile on his face was very sunny. Qianxue, what do you want to eat tonight? Li Qianxue thought about what old Master Li had said when she went out this morning, and looked at Wei Ting with some hesitation. Wei Ting, can we have dinner next time? I promised my dad to go home for dinner today. During this period of time, she had always had social engagements. It had been a few days since she had eaten with old Master Li. Wei Ting's eyes lit up, as if he had suddenly found a direction. Isn't that perfect? I can visit old Master Li too. Wei Ting, stop fooling around. How could Li Qianxue meet him as an elder? I'm not fooling around. Wei Ting blinked his eyes. His young and sunny face looked sincere. I can go and tell uncle that I want to pursue you. I can also get him to agree to my pursuit. Li Qianxue wanted to laugh. Sometimes, the Wei Ting in front of her really made her feel like she was looking at a child. Wei Ting, first of all, if you want to pursue me, you don't need my father's consent. You need my consent. Second, I don't think we've reached the point of meeting your parents yet. Third, we're really not suitable for each other. If I were you, I would stop thinking about you now. I don't understand. Qianxue, you always say that we're not suitable. How are we not suitable? Wei Ting, how old are you this year? 34 years old. What's wrong? He was 33 years old. But at this time, Wei Ting didn't mind saying that he was older. I'm 48 years old. Li Qianxue had never avoided talking about her age. I'm 14 years older than you. According to the ancient calculations, I can almost be your mother. My mother isn't as young as you. Wei Ting looked at Li Qianxue's well-maintained fair face, without a trace of fine lines or spots, with a serious expression. My mother gave birth to me late, so don't worry. My mother looks like she's of the same generation as you. What's more, in your current state, even if you tell others that you're my sister, no one will believe you, let alone my sister. Li Qianxue looked to be in her early 30s at most. If she took off this suit and wore it younger, people would believe her if she said that she was less than 30. Wei Ting, was that the point? That was not the point at all. I just want to explain why it's impossible for us. That's what you think. I think it's very possible. Wei Ting, I already have a son and a daughter. Especially my daughter. I feel very guilty towards her. I only have these 2 children in my life. I know. So what? That means that even if what you said is serious, even if you really don't mind that I'm married, have children, and even become a grandmother, I don't believe that you don't even mind if you have your own children. Wei Ting frowned. For the past half a year, Li Qianxue had been saying that she wasn't suitable for him. But this was the first time she had talked about children. He frowned. He had really thought about Li Qianxue's problem. If you really want to be with me, I think we can adopt. See, you still don't understand what I mean. Li Qianxue didn't mind explaining again. I said that I feel very guilty towards my daughter, which means that I no longer have the energy to love other children, no matter who gave birth to that child. It wasn't that she hadn't thought about giving all her love to Su Yusin and Su Qingsang for the rest of her life. Su Yusin was a boy. After he graduated, got married, and had children. No matter what, she had watched him grow up and raised him by her side. She didn't feel that guilty. But towards Su Qingsang, her guilt was real. This kind of guilt wouldn't disappear just because Su Qingsang got married and met a husband who treated her very well. She was already prepared. When Su Yusin graduated and could slowly take over the company, she wanted to go to Rong City. She was Su Qingsang's biological mother. What she could do couldn't be less than Xiang Saiping's mother, right? That doesn't matter. It's fine as long as I have a child I love. I don't mind. Li Qinshua's attitude changed at this moment. She looked at Wei Ting very seriously. The boy in front of her, who was more than 10 years younger than her, said such serious words, which surprised her very much. Even if he didn't use his brain, and just said it to coax her, she couldn't help but feel a little touched. She had the feeling of liking someone, but not getting a response. Even if Wei Ting's words weren't very sincere, they were at least 70 to 80% sincere. She couldn't help but feel a little touched. I'm telling the truth. Don't look at me just because I'm younger than you. But normally speaking, I'm not young anymore. I haven't been married for so many years, and I'm really focused on my work. Of course, I have had girlfriends. But in the past, whenever I didn't accompany them enough, or when I couldn't accompany them because of work, they would be especially resentful towards me. After I met you, I've always wondered why I like you, and why I like you so much. But there's no reason to like you. I don't know what I like about you, but I just like you. As for what you said, according to my age, I've thought about it all. There's one thing I'm very sure of. That is, if I really get together with you, you definitely won't be like those little girls who get angry at me because I can't accompany you. Qinshuo, I admit that I didn't like you that much at first. But in the past half a year, I feel that my liking for you hasn't decreased. Instead, it's increased. When I confirmed my feelings, when I decided to do my best to pursue you, the problems you mentioned, whether it's the opinions of others or the problems we will encounter, I've thought about them all. So I can tell you very calmly and rationally now. I like you. I like you very much. I like you so much that I can accept any condition you say. As for the obstacles, I've also thought about it. There might be, but if our feelings for each other are strong enough, why should we be afraid of those obstacles? His eloquence was too good, his eyes were too serious, and the words he said were really pleasant to hear. Li Qinshua's touch just now had now turned into 3 parts. She was a mature, calm, and rational person. She didn't love or like Wei Ting. But at this moment, she knew that she was touched by his words. Even if she couldn't be sure of his feelings in the future, even if the two of them still couldn't be together in the end. At this moment, Wei Ting moved her. And the heart of someone who liked him couldn't be hurt. Wei Ting. Qinshuo. Wei Ting, who thought she was going to reject him again, raised his hand. Can you not reject me now? Even if you really don't like me, I think you can give me a chance to perform, right? Maybe one day, you will be moved by me and fall in love with me? Li Qinshuo really didn't know what to say to this person. So Qinshuo, are you willing to give me this chance now? Li Qinshuo was about to refuse and protect him, but when she met his gaze, she swallowed her words again. Didn't you say eat? Let's go. Qinshuo, are you rejecting me? No. Li Qinshuo looked at her instantly smiling face and said helplessly, I'm just returning the meal I owe you yesterday. I don't care. I'll take it that you agree. The smile on Wei Ting's face was a little childish. Li Qinshuo looked at him following beside her. The smile on her face didn't disappear, and there was a subtle change in her emotions. This person and Su Qinghui were really 2 completely different types. Su Qinghui was elegant and didn't show his emotions. Most of the time, he was reserved and deep. Wei Ting, however, was different. He was sunny and cheerful. There was a kind of smell that was between a man and a boy. You're staring at me. Does it mean that my face is very handsome? Wei Ting sensed Li Qinshuo's gaze and moved closer to her. Li Qinshuo took half a step to the side. She didn't want to see his arrogant appearance. I don't think you're very handsome. You're far worse than my son and son-in-law. Wei Ting choked, and almost choked on his own saliva. Hua Jinyao, well, fine, he was a little more handsome than him. But he didn't admit that Su Yusen was more handsome than him. Your son is still a young boy. How can he be as handsome as me? Who are you calling a young boy? How did her son look like a young boy? Now that he had gone to school, whether it was the company or the family matters, they were all handled in an orderly manner at home. During the more than 10 years that Su Qinghui had intentionally or unintentionally neglected, she was already very satisfied that Su Yusen didn't go astray and could still have such achievements today. My bad words. Qinshuo, don't be angry. What I mean is that although your son is handsome, He's still young and lacks maturity. I'm different. I have the charm of a mature man. Mature man? Li Qinxue suddenly thought of Su Qinghui. Back then, didn't she fall in love with Su Qinghui because of the so-called mature man's temperament? However, a man's maturity was sometimes only on the surface. The more mature he was, the more ruthless he might be. Sometimes maturity is not a good thing. It was actually very rare to be able to maintain a pure heart. Wei Ting didn't hear this clearly. He couldn't help but get closer. What did you say? Li Qinxue realized that she actually thought of Su Qinghui at such a time. Her expression was a little uneasy for a moment. The elevator arrived at this time. She didn't answer Wei Ting's question and directly stepped into the elevator. Wei Ting shrugged helplessly and followed Li Qinxue into the elevator. Li Qinxue promised Wei Ting to have dinner with her, but she didn't dare to bring him home. She got into his car and thought for a moment. Then, she asked Wei Ting to drive the car to Linyuan Pavilion. There were many high-end places in Lin City, but the few that she was familiar with were the best at keeping secrets. The car turned into the parking lot of Linyuan Pavilion and didn't stop. There were 2 cars following behind them. One was Li Qinshue's car, and the driver Little Yin was driving. After Li Qinxue got out of the car, she could see the other car clearly. That was Su Qinghui's car. Had he been following her all this time? As if to prove her guess, the car door opened, and Su Qinghui got out of the car. Just like that, he walked in front of Li Qinxue. At the same time, Wei Ting also got out of the car and went around to the side of the car. The 2 of them stood there looking at each other. Li Qinxue only looked at Su Qinghui. Her gaze was slightly cold. Are you following me? If Su Qinghui dared to say yes, she believed that she would slap him without hesitation. Not really. Su Qinghui shook his head and held the contract from the afternoon in his hand. I just remembered that there are still some details about the cooperation that I want to tell you. So I went to your company to look for you. I didn't expect that I would run into you sitting in this gentleman's car. Su Qinghui deliberately didn't address Wei Ting as this gentleman. As for whether he wanted to talk about the details of the cooperation, he wouldn't admit that it wasn't. He listened to Wei Ting yesterday and asked Li Qinxue to have dinner with him today. Chapter 7:16. Wei Ting narrowed his eyes and put his hands in his trouser pockets. He wasn't in a hurry to step forward, but waited to see how Li Qinxue would react. Li Qinxue was already quite unhappy about encountering Su Qinghui again and again in the past 2 days. She didn't even hide her disgust at his actions. What details can't be said tomorrow? Do you have to stop me on the road? I just remembered, so I came to tell you. I'm afraid I'll forget tomorrow. In my impression, you're not someone with such a bad memory. Li Qinxue was unmoved. If you really think you'll forget, you can use your phone to write it down now. You're still some time away from old age. I believe you shouldn't have amnesia at such a young age, right? Of course not. I just want to settle down as soon as possible. I thought you thought the same. You're wrong. Li Qinxue wouldn't go along with his words. It's already been delayed for so long. It doesn't matter if it's a little longer. Qinxue. Su Qinghui wanted to say that she wasn't like this in the past. She used to be very concerned about work. If there was something that wasn't resolved, she wished she could resolve it that night. It's private time now, and it's dinner time. Mr. Su, President Su, I think no matter how important business is, I have the right to eat, right? I didn't mean that. Su Qinghui was thick-skinned again. I mean, maybe we can talk while we eat? No, you want to talk while we eat. But I'm afraid I won't have an appetite. Li Qinxue looked at him, who didn't intend to back down, and took a step back. Su Qinghui, if there's any business we'll talk tomorrow. By the way, before you go to the Li Corporation, please make an appointment with my secretary. After all, not everyone is as free as you. She stabbed Su Qinghui in a neither soft nor hard way, and was satisfied to see his expression change. She turned to look at Wei Ting. Let's go. Wei Ting nodded and followed Li Qinxue into Linyuan Pavilion. When he went up the steps, he didn't forget to remind her in a low voice. Be careful of the steps. Thank you. Li Qinxue nodded. She hesitated for a second, and didn't shake off Wei Ting's hand. Instead, she let him hold her hand. Su Qinghui narrowed his eyes, and his hands that were hanging by his side slightly tightened. After the two of them completely disappeared through the door, his shoulders drooped weakly. Wei Ting sat opposite Li Qianxue and looked at her expressionless face. As soon as she entered the restaurant, she flung his hand away. This was truly a thorough use of him. Unfortunately, he could not do anything about it. He even had to feel happy. After all, he still had value in front of Li Qianxue. Are you unhappy? No. To be honest, he did feel a little unhappy, but only a little. Qianxue's performance just now was really good. I find that I like you more and more. What should I do? Wei Ting, if you continue to be so glib, I can only hate you more and more. Don't be like this. Wei Ting was about to lose to her. Actually, if you really don't want to see him, I have a good idea. Be with me. Wei Ting's face was serious. Now that you have a master, he will naturally retreat. Wei Ting, this joke isn't funny. I can forget about it after hearing it. Qianxue, you really know how to break my heart. Wei Ting clutched his heart, as if he was really injured. Li Qianxue watched him act, and her mood really improved a little. She knew the burden on her from the moment she was born. Old Master Li treated her as the only successor and groomed her. Although she was spoiled and willful since she was young. However, she was also strictly required to be groomed as a successor. After she grew up, she met that enemy, and hadn't been happy for more than 20 years. In the past there were 2 children. Su Yusin was a boy, so he naturally didn't act coquettishly in front of her. Su Peijian was a girl. In the past she was close to her, but because of her personality, she rarely acted presumptuously in front of her. Seriously speaking, it was the first time she had come into contact with someone like Wei Ting. You hurt my heart. I want to eat something delicious today, and make up for my stomach. As Wei Ting spoke, he opened the electronic menu on the table. His fingers swiped across the menu on the screen, while he looked at Li Qianxue. I'm too sad. What does your sadness have to do with eating? Haven't you heard of it? When the taste buds are satisfied, the body is also satisfied. When one side is satisfied, the sadness can more or less be made up for. Li Qianxue's face finally revealed a smile. Have you always been so good at talking nonsense? How is this nonsense? There's a scientific basis for this. If you don't believe me, you'll know after you eat. As Wei Ting spoke, he suddenly exclaimed, and threw the electronic menu aside. He looked at Li Qianxue and said, Actually, the dishes made by this kind of big restaurant look famous, but they really don't taste that good. Next time, I'll take you to eat delicious food. Fortunately, I'm not picky about food. Li Qianxue actually didn't eat many things. Old Master Li paid attention to health, and she followed his taste and was very light. She said that she wasn't picky about food, but in fact, she was really picky. Tomorrow, I'll take you to eat delicious food tomorrow. Wei Ting. Li Qianxue looked at the smug look on his face, and said in an extremely indifferent voice, Don't think that I don't know that you want to ask me out. I really don't have time tomorrow. Wei Ting's face fell. Ah, Qianxue, you were so heartless. Now great. Delicious food can't make up for it. This time, Li Qianxue finally couldn't help but laugh. This Wei Ting was actually quite interesting. The next day, Su Qinghui followed Li Qianxue's request yesterday, and called Yang Rong to make an appointment. However, Li Qianxue did it on purpose. She asked Yang Rong to say that she didn't have time to see him. The 3rd and 4th days were weekends, so she didn't have time. Every time Su Qinghui called to say that he wanted to see her, he was rejected by Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue knew that her actions weren't appropriate. After all, for the sake of the company, the earlier the construction of the land in the North District, the better. However, she really didn't want to see Su Qinghui. She didn't want to see his overly smug face. She was indeed very busy. After all, the Li Corporation was so big, and there was more than one project going on. She didn't want to see Su Qinghui, but Su Qinghui came looking for her. When Li Qianxue went downstairs, she had just ended the video call with Su Qingsang. The 2 little guys were different every day. They looked really cute. She really wanted to fly to Rong City, and hug her 2 grandsons to get close to them. Because she saw her 2 little grandsons, Li Qianxue was in a good mood when she went downstairs. There was a faint smile on her face, but that smile froze when she saw Su Qinghui sitting on the sofa. She looked left and right. There was no one else in the living room except him. Qianxue. Su Qinghui stood up when he saw her go downstairs. Of course, he didn't miss the change in her expression when she saw him. Who allowed you to come in? Li Qianxue's tone wasn't polite. I wanted to go to the Li Corporation to look for you. You haven't been free, so I can only come to your house to look for you. His voice was calm, without a trace of accusation. Li Qianxue didn't think that she had gone overboard. Really? I've been busy with the company recently, so I really don't have time. Yes, I know you don't have time, so I came to your house. Su Qinghui said the word home quite naturally. Li Qianxue originally wanted to refute, but thinking of the difficulties she had been in the past few days and more important things, she held back. Tell me what's the matter? You just got up. You haven't eaten yet, have you? Why don't you go eat first? There was a faint concern in Su Qinghui's eyes, but Li Qianxue didn't appreciate it. I haven't had breakfast yet. Since you know that this is my breakfast time, why did you come so early? Sorry. Su Qinghui admitted his mistake honestly. I just wanted to see you earlier. His attitude made Li Qianxue feel that her counterattack was as powerless as hitting a piece of cotton. She looked at Su Qinghui in front of her, whose appearance hadn't changed, but whose personality had changed drastically. She felt a little annoyed. She got up and went to the dining room for breakfast. Li Qianxue didn't expect Su Qinghui to follow her into the dining room and sit in the seat he used to sit in. In the Li family's dining room, old Master Li was at the head, she was on the left, and Su Qinghui was on the right. Further down were Su Yusin and Su Peijian. Even if Su Qinghui divorced her, no one would sit in his seat after he left. Now that he was sitting there, for a moment, Li Qianxue felt like she had returned to the past. Although Su Qinghui didn't love her in the past, after living together for decades, many habits had slowly merged. For example, the habit of eating breakfast, the habit of sitting once at breakfast every day. Even if Su Qinghui had nothing to talk to her about, he would talk about some important arrangements in the company. When he really entered the company, he rarely went to her office to look for her. During breakfast, it was equivalent to a small meeting between the husband and wife. In addition to work, there was also the matter of the 2 children. When the 2 children were at school, Su Qinghui would ask them about their homework, or some things that happened at school. In the past, when Li Qianxue didn't know the truth, she only felt that Su Qinghui really cared about his daughter. No matter what she did at school, whether or not there were boys pursuing her, he cared about her. As for Su Yusin, he cared a little less. She only thought that it was because Su Yusin was a boy and didn't need special attention. Since she knew the reason, she was clear about Su Qinghui's favoritism. Now that she saw him sitting opposite her, Li Qianxue's expression didn't look good. What? After leaving the Li family, you didn't even have breakfast. Do you want to come to the Li family for breakfast? Su Qinghui ignored her sarcastic words and watched Nanny Zhang bring out the bird's nest and place it in front of Li Qianxue. Nanny Zhang was a little surprised to see Su Qinghui. Decades of habit made her speak almost instinctively. Sir, you're back? Have you had breakfast? What do you want to eat? Not yet. What do you have? I'm fine. There's millet porridge in the kitchen. It's still hot. Sir, wait a moment. After Nanny Zhang finished speaking, she realized that she had made the decision without authorization. She couldn't help but look at Li Qianxue. It was also out of habit that she remembered now. Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue had divorced. Li Qianxue looked at Su Qinghui, her face full of mockery. Why are you looking at me? Since he can't even have breakfast, you can give him one. Anyway, he has eaten the Li family's food for so many years. He doesn't need one more meal. Although she was usually not polite to people, she really didn't have many times when she was so sharp. Su Qinghui knew that she was venting all her dissatisfaction on him. He wasn't annoyed. Looking at Nanny Zhang, who was a little embarrassed, his voice was very indifferent. Nanny Zhang, please. Su Qinghui had always been very popular with the Li family. He was very polite to people. It could be said that, just like Li Qianxue now, all his sharpness was given to Li Qianxue. All his gentleness was given to others. Li Qianxue's face was cold as she watched Nanny Zhang bring out the porridge for Su Qinghui and put breakfast on the table. She suppressed her emotions and focused on eating the bird's nest in front of her. Su Qinghui, who was sitting across from him, was a little emotional at this time. It used to be like this. The two of them would sit like this and eat breakfast quietly. Although the two of them didn't talk much back then, after so many years, there was a tacit understanding between husband and wife. Most of the time, I already knew what you were going to say after you said the first sentence. At that time, he had thought that it had nothing to do with love. It was just a tacit understanding developed through work. There was a plate of shrimp dumplings in front of him. Su Qinghui instinctively put them in her bowl. However, he remembered the previous dispute in Rong City. He never knew that Li Qianxue didn't like shrimp dumplings. She only ate it because he liked it. He really didn't understand her. As soon as he thought of this, his hand that was holding the prawn dumpling stiffened. Of course, Li Qianxue also noticed his movements. Her lips curled into a mocking smile. Naturally, Li Qianxue also thought of it. She put down the bowl in her hand and couldn't eat anymore. Qianxue. Su Qinghui hurriedly put down the bowl because of her action, and the two of them went to the living room together. Su Qinghui picked up the proposal on the coffee table and tried to sound as gentle as possible. This is the proposal. I changed it again when I went home last night. There are 2 small bugs in it, and I've already corrected them. Take a look again. Maybe I can explain it to you? Li Qianxue ignored his words. She directly took the proposal and began to read it. She sat on the sofa and fell into deep thought as she looked at the 2 places that Su Qinghui had corrected. She didn't speak, and Su Qinghui just looked at her. His gaze was almost greedy. He sat in the living room of the Li family, sitting opposite Li Qianxue. The quiet atmosphere almost made him hallucinate. He thought that he and Li Qianxue had returned to the past. If they could continue like this, Li Qianxue seemed to have thought of something. She suddenly looked up at Su Qinghui. When she met Su Qinghui's focused gaze, she was stunned. She saw her own reflection in his eyes. When he realized that she was looking at him, his gaze softened. Qianxue, you're so beautiful. This was a compliment from the bottom of his heart. He was also annoyed that he had been blind before. Why couldn't he see Li Qianxue's beautiful side? Li Qianxue's expression turned a little ugly after being praised by him. She was really not used to Su Qinghui like this, and she couldn't stand it. Su Qinghui, are you here to talk about business or what? Li Qianxue felt a little uncomfortable for a moment. She pointed at the proposal with a cold expression. Your addition is a little useless. I've done some homework these few days, and I have a different opinion. Chapter 717. Su Qinghui didn't answer her question. He just stared at her with a burning gaze. He was introverted by nature, and at this age, his words and actions were naturally mature and prudent. It was very rare to see someone sizing him up without concealment. Li Qianxue forced herself not to be angry. Any reaction she gave now would only make Su Qinghui even more proud, and she wanted to reject this. Su Qinghui, if you don't want to talk about business now, then please. Su Qinghui wasn't annoyed because of her change of attitude. Instead, he sat up straight. How is it? What do you think after I change? No matter how much Li Qianxue disliked Su Qinghui, she was still extremely calm and self-restrained when it came to company matters. She pointed at the plan with a cold face. It's not a bad idea to add this idea, but I've done some homework these few days. I have some other ideas. What? You have this water circulation system above. Rainwater and wastewater can be collected and reused, so why not change the roof device to solar energy? I've considered it, and found that it would affect the aesthetics. That's why I decided to use air energy. Yes, if solar energy is placed on the roof, it will affect the aesthetics, but what if it is placed on the wall? This was the main point she wanted to say. Li Qianxue found a pen under the coffee table and circled the key points. I've been thinking about this for the past few days. What you said is good, but it's only relative. We can still improve and do better. For example, what I said. She didn't look at Su Qinghui. Her gaze was only on the plan. At the same time, she used a pen to mark it. Look, based on the sunshine time and orientation of Lin City, design the wall as a solar energy collector. This way, it won't affect the overall aesthetics, and it will achieve the effect you said. What about the cost? Have you considered it? Yes. When Li Qianxue was immersed in work, she was quite calm and rational. I asked Wei Ting. He knows this area very well. According to what I said, only the initial costs will be increased, and there will only be a maintenance fee later. The costs will be generated. Of course, people who can live in such a small community shouldn't care about this small property management fee. Yes, what you said makes sense. Although hearing Wei Ting's name made Su Qinghui a little uncomfortable, he forced himself to ignore that name. So I added something else. Su Qinghui flipped a page of the plan and pointed it out to her. What do you think? Li Qianxue looked at the words marked on it. And there were some changes. She couldn't help but turn her head to look. Su Qinghui's body was also leaning towards her. Unknowingly, the two of them were much closer. She stared at the proposal and didn't notice what Su Qinghui was doing. However, Su Qinghui noticed it. From his angle, he could see her face. Her facial features were bright, and her nose bridge was higher than the average person's. Li, she said Li's face. However, Li Qianxue didn't notice his gaze. All her attention was on the proposal. Your idea is not bad, she thought. Li's right, Li was his. Kuat. Chun he was. He was looking at her. When she turned her head, their lips met. Li Qianxue was stunned. Su Qinghui didn't expect that his approach would bring such a pleasant surprise. He didn't want to retreat at all. Instead, he wanted to move forward a little. Sensing Su Qinghui's actions, Li Qianxue quickly stepped back. She sat away from her previous seat in a sorry state. The two of them had been married for more than 20 years, but they had never kissed once. In her memory, the 2 times they were drunk, they had brought 2 children. As for the process, Li Qianxue subconsciously chose to forget it. She wanted to flare up, but she knew that she couldn't blame Su Qinghui for what happened just now. Li Qianxue hated that she was already so old and had suffered so much, but she was still affected by him. Thinking of this, Li Qianxue's voice turned cold. Since your company has decided to participate in this project, then choose a time to sign the contract. Okay. Su Qinghui had already taken advantage of her today. He knew when to stop. Even his gaze was much more restrained. However, have you spoken to the Tianyu group? I have. I spoke to Hu Jingyao on the phone yesterday. He will send the president of their branch over to discuss this matter. Li Qianxue's voice sounded extremely calm. The time has been set. I will let you know. Since it was a 3-party cooperation, of course, Su Qinghui also needed to be present. Even if Li Qianxue didn't want to, she couldn't avoid it. Okay. I'll wait for your news. Su Qinghui's voice was soft, and Li Qianxue could hear a hint of affection in it. She lowered her eyes and felt that it was enough for today. If there's nothing else, let's leave it at that. Li Qianxue stood up and was about to leave. Su Qinghui stood up as well. Do you have any plans today? He looked at her very eagerly. Li Qianxue's lips were pursed into a straight line, and her body was stained with a cold aura for no reason. I don't have any plans. I'll just stay at home. The weather is good. At the end of spring, the weather in Lin City was very comfortable. This kind of weather was very suitable for going out and playing. Why don't we go play basketball together? Li Qianxue turned to face him, the expression on her face unchanged. Are you going on a date with me? Su Qinghui didn't deny his plan, but he felt that Li Qianxue had been a little tense recently. I know you've been very busy recently. Isn't it good to relax at the right time? No, I don't think I need to relax. How can you not need to? Su Qinghui took 2 steps forward. Before Li Qianxue could react, he stood behind her. He put his hands on her shoulders and gently squeezed. Look, you're very tense here. You've been too tired recently. I think it's been a long time since you went to the beauty salon for a spa, right? Li Qianxue's body was stiff. She felt that Su Qinghui's hands were still on her shoulders, massaging them with moderate strength. She quickly turned around and avoided his hands. Su Qinghui. Li Qianshua's expression didn't change. She stared straight at him. I'm very tense because of your touch. I hate it when you touch me. If you don't touch me, I naturally won't be tense. The resistance on her face was too obvious. Not only was Su Qinghui not annoyed, but he even took a step forward. You mean, my touch makes you tense up? Don't you even have this little self-awareness? Li Qianshua's voice was cold. Su Qinghui smiled faintly. Qianshua, I'm very happy. His reaction was too sudden, but Li Qianshua almost instantly understood what he meant, and her expression changed slightly. Su Qinghui didn't seem to know her hesitation. He took another step forward with a happy expression. I still have influence on you. I'm very happy. No matter what kind of emotion it was, as long as there was an emotional reaction, it was a good thing. It was better than her being indifferent to him. Li Qianshua's expression was ugly. The smile on Su Qinghui's face was quite glaring to her. She almost couldn't calm down anymore. I also have a reaction to cockroaches. When I see a bug appear in front of me, I also have a reaction. Su Qinghui, there's nothing to be proud of. You don't have to feel happy. Disgust, hatred, and disgust are all emotions. I know. Su Qinghui's voice lowered. But compared to you ignoring me, I'd rather you hate me. At least hatred was also a kind of emotion, wasn't it? Then congratulations. Li Qianshua's expression was cold. With what you've done, I'll always hate you in this life. After saying this, Li Qianshua turned around and went upstairs. Su Qinghui stood in the high living room for a long time, with a complicated expression on his face. Li Qianshua was really annoyed. This kind of emotion didn't dissipate until night. When she was video chatting with Su Qingseng at night, her face unconsciously showed some emotions. Su Qingseng knew that Li Qianshua liked the two children, so she video chatted with Li Qianshua every night to let her see the two children. However, that night, Li Qianshua was obviously not in a good mood. Su Qingseng held it in for a while, but in the end, she couldn't help but speak. Mom, what's wrong? Are you not feeling well? No, maybe I'm too tired. Li Qianshua looked at her daughter on the other side of the screen. After Su Qingseng gave birth to a pair of twins, she had rested for a few months, and her complexion was much better. Hua Jinyao was very good to her, and now even Lu Tongjia's attitude had changed. She was very happy, and the corners of her eyes were full of smiles. Especially when she was with the two children, the happiness on her face came from the bottom of her heart. Qingseng. Yes, Li Qianshua had asked some questions before, but now she couldn't help but ask again. Do you hate your father? Su Qingseng didn't expect to hear this question again after so long. Mom, why are you asking this out of the blue? Did Dad come to see you again? Yes. The company has a project that might require cooperation with your father's company. Although she was reluctant, it had to be like this. You know how I feel about your father, but because of the company, and because of you and Yusen, we will always have the chance to meet. Mom, Su Qingseng didn't think that it was that complicated. Since it's a business cooperation, then let's do business. Qingseng. As for me, I don't hate him. She had told Hua Jinyao a long time ago that she didn't have any expectations for Su Qinghui. Without any expectations, naturally, there would be no harm. She had a mother-daughter desire to be close to Li Qianshua. She also felt guilty, especially after giving birth to the children. She could understand Li Qianshua's feelings. But for Su Qinghui, all the feelings she had for so many years had been used up. She could now see Su Qinghui as a very ordinary elder. He came to Rong City to see her and the two children. She wouldn't feel particularly excited, nor would she feel particularly surprised. He was like an ordinary elder. She didn't hate him, but she couldn't get close to him. Really? Of course it's true. Su Qingseng looked at her and thought of something. Mom, do you know? Hate is actually a very intense emotion. I don't like to hate people. It's too tiring. Really? Was it too tiring to hate people? After Li Qianshua ended the video call with Su Qingseng, she sat on the bed in a daze. Hating people was very tiring, but not hating them was even more tiring. She needed an outlet to vent all the pent-up emotions in her heart. Su Qingseng could be magnanimous and let it go, but she couldn't. Her daughter and son could let it go because of their blood relationship and not hate Su Qinghui. But she couldn't. Even if she knew that it would be very tiring. But it was tiring. She really couldn't let it go. It was too difficult for her. Su Qinghui's plan for the North District was a large, intelligent community. It didn't matter if they wanted to build a factory on the land on the side. But before the other party opened the factory, if they could build the project here first, and with such a unique concept, they believed that they could be one step ahead of others. As for the factory, it was much more difficult to go through the procedures and approval than their residential area. They would build an ultramodern, fully intelligent community a little away from the city. They would meet the needs of more and more young people. After the decision was made, the next step was to contact the Tianyu Group. There was no other way. The land in the hands of the Li Corporation was next to the Tianyu Group. Speaking of which, when Hu Jinyao was in Lin City, he also knew the plan there, and knew that he wanted to build a business circle. So he took that land. The current CEO of the Lin City branch in the Tianyu region was Wang Tao. After Hu Jinyao left, the person in charge was transferred from the head office in Rong City. As one of Hu Jinyao's trusted subordinates, Wang Tao was well aware of the relationship between Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue. His attitude towards the two of them was quite polite. There was no problem with the contract, and the other party also approved of the proposal. Wang Tao made the decision after asking for Hu Jinyao's opinion. After discussing the details, all that was left was to sign the contract. It was such a big project. There was definitely a need for publicity. In the end, the three families decided to hold a grand signing ceremony as a publicity tool. No matter how much Li Qianxue disliked Su Qinghui, she had seen him a lot more recently. The two of them often had the opportunity to meet. Although Wang Tao was present every time they met, Wang Tao had a sense of propriety. He tried his best not to occupy the home court. Instead, he let Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui be the home court. As a result, Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui communicated more often because of work. Li Qianxue didn't want to see Su Qinghui, but she had no choice but to do so. For example, Su Qinghui was sitting in her office again. I've already set the signing ceremony next week. I've also asked for President Wang's opinion. I've decided to set the signing ceremony at the Blue Court Hotel. After the signing, there will be a small banquet. I'll invite all the reporters to attend. It's up to you. Li Qianxue didn't want to have a disagreement with Su Qinghui on such a small matter. The rest of the conversation was about business. Li Qianxue looked at the schedule. After confirming that there were no problems, she planned to let Su Qinghui leave. Qianxue. Su Qinghui looked at Li Qianxue with a flash of helplessness and regret in his eyes. Chapter 718. No. Li Qianxue refused rather bluntly. You can find someone else. I'm not interested in being your companion. Su Qinghui's eyes darkened a little, but he still refused to give up. Listen to my plan. This is just a small banquet. If you don't want to be my companion, we can go together that day. Su Qinghui, we were going to attend together that day. What does it matter if I become your companion or not? Also, we are divorced. Are you afraid that people won't misunderstand our relationship if I appear in public with you? I know we're divorced. Don't worry. No one will misunderstand. Ever since Li Qianxue announced in Lin City that she had broken off all ties with Su Peixian, everyone knew that they were divorced. I'll refuse no matter what. Li Qianxue didn't give him a chance at all. Su Qinghui, you don't have to think about it. You know how much I don't like standing with you. Su Qinghui was rejected, but he wasn't angry. He looked at Li Qianxue with a gentle look in his eyes. For a moment, his gaze made Li Qianxue think that he was looking at a willful and mischievous child. Li Qianxue was inexplicably annoyed. Her face turned cold, and she unceremoniously asked him to leave. Get out. I still have something to do. Su Qinghui wasn't surprised by her sudden change in attitude. After these few encounters, he had become more and more aware of his limits. If he wanted to get close to Li Qianxue, he had to be careful not to cross her bottom line. She was still unhappy with him, and he knew it. He carefully grasped the boundaries of this place and cautiously probed. He would never give up on Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue didn't relax until Su Qinghui left. It wasn't exactly relaxing. It was just that he felt less annoyed, but he didn't really relax much. She knitted her brows tightly, and there was a flash of gloom in her eyes. Su Qinghui. Sunday. When Li Qianxue arrived at the tennis court, Wang Tao was already there. Not only him, but Chief Chen from the Urban Construction Bureau, Chief Gao from the Investment Promotion Agency, and Li Junxing were also there. As the president of the Lin City branch of Tianyu Group, Wang Tao was naturally very familiar with these people. After greeting Li Qianxue, they chatted for a while. Li Qianxue greeted him and turned to change. When he came out of the changing room, he saw a very familiar person coming out of the men's fitting room opposite. Su Qinghui. He had changed into a white tennis jersey. This outfit made him look much younger than usual. At this moment, if someone said that he was not even 40, there would be people who would believe it. Li Qianxue was not in the mood to appreciate his face, which was a few years younger at this time. She just frowned because she saw him. Qianxue, what a coincidence. As he spoke, he looked at Li Qianxue. Sportswear suits her. Her bright and beautiful face was a little more lively because she had changed her clothes. He instinctively took a step forward, as if he wanted to see her more clearly. Is it a coincidence? This was not a coincidence at all. I don't think it's a coincidence. I really didn't know that CEO Wang asked you out. If she had known that Su Qinghui would come, she would have turned him down. Su Qinghui pretended not to understand the meaning of Li Qianxue's words, and looked at her with great admiration. Qianxue, you look very good today. Li Qianxue didn't want to talk to him anymore. She turned around and walked out. Su Qinghui followed beside her. He held a tennis racket in his hand. Let's play together later? Without getting a response, Su Qinghui seemed to have thought of something and said, I remember that you were the one who taught me tennis. Li Qianxue didn't stop walking, but her face was a little gloomy. It wasn't just tennis. Su Qinghui's golf was also taught by her. The Su family's family was ordinary, and Su Qinghui's mother was just a nurse. Even though Su Qinghui had great ambitions, he had little contact with these things. After marrying her, even if Su Qinghui was unwilling, he still wanted to make a name for himself in the Li Corporation. There were fewer social engagements in the business world. In the past, golf was popular in the upper class of Lin City. She followed old Master Li to do business, so Li Qianxue naturally dealt with those people since she was young. After marrying Su Qinghui, in order to make it easier for him to socialize with those bosses, she taught him how to play golf. She still remembered her thoughts at that time. On one hand, it was to let Su Qinghui socialize with those bosses smoothly. On the other hand, it was because she wanted more opportunities to get close to him. At that time, she was very naive. She always felt that as long as she gave in, one day, Su Qinghui would see her good, and he would see her strengths. She taught him very carefully. She still remembered that from the beginning of golf, how to swing and how to hit the ball. Su Qinghui was a very smart person. His ability was not only reflected in his business ability, but he also learned these things very quickly. In the past, she didn't understand why. After a long time, she understood that for Su Qinghui, the most important thing was to succeed in the fastest time and accumulate his own connections. That was why he put in so much effort. She remembered that for a long time, Su Qinghui almost didn't have much time to rest. All his time was booked up. In addition to work, he also learned many other abilities. At that time, she had just become pregnant. Although she didn't look bad, she was always more tired than usual. However, he devoted himself to work. Not only could she not complain, but she also felt gratified. She was happy. After all, the harder he worked, the less burden she had on him. Su Qinghui had a separate study on the second floor. At that time, he often stayed in the study until late at night. For a while, she thought that it was because he was working too hard and wanted to achieve results as soon as possible. But later, she found out that it was just because he wanted to avoid her. He didn't want to be with her, and he didn't want to sleep in the same bed with her. But at that time, she didn't know. She thought that he was working hard to achieve results in the company as soon as possible. So she didn't hold back. She shared everything she knew and learned with him. Not only her, but also Old Master Li. Old Master Li loved her too much. Even though he knew that Su Qinghui wasn't a good match, he still agreed to be with them after she became pregnant. After she and Su Qinghui got married, he taught Su Qinghui his connections and experience bit by bit, just like she had done for him. He was also a very talented person. For everything he could use, he constantly absorbed like a sponge. These abilities would become Su Qinghui's bonus points in the future. He had gradually transformed in the upper-class society of Lin City. His initial naivety, anxiety, and incompatibility when he first entered the upper-class society had disappeared from his every move. Many people used to laugh at her behind her back. She was the daughter of the Li family, but she chose a penniless commoner. At that time, there were countless people waiting to marry into the Li family. Not to mention those far away, just the Chiu family, the Luo family, and the Song family, which family didn't want to marry her. But she didn't move. She just liked Su Qinghui. She watched Su Qinghui improve bit by bit and succeed bit by bit. She didn't feel afraid that her power would be taken away. Instead, she felt proud. When Su Qinghui gradually grew up and slowly gained a foothold in the Li family, the contempt and jealousy behind him lessened. Later, Su Qinghui completed a few very beautiful cases. After proving his ability with his skills and foresight, those people said that she had foresight. They said that she knew how to find such a potential stock. At that time, she was happy. She was happy that she had foresight, and that she had chosen such a man. It wasn't until later that she realized that she was wrong. Qinxue. Su Qinghui's voice woke her up from her reverie. Only then did she realize that she had already walked to the tennis court outside. The weather today was good. It was a cloudy day. The court was close to the suburbs. When the wind blew, not only did it not feel hot, but it also made people feel cool. Li Qinxue didn't look at Su Qinghui. Instead, she looked at the court in front of her. The few who had arrived early had already left the court. Director Chun was on one side with Director Gao, and Li Junxing was on the other side with Wang Tao. The four of them had already started to play doubles. Li Qinxue stood there without moving. She came out today because of Wang Tao's invitation, and because Li Junxing was there. As for the land in the North District, it wasn't completely settled yet. She also wanted to know the latest direction. Now that she saw that they had all left the court, she wasn't in a hurry to leave the court. Qinxue, let's go too. Su Qinghui stood beside her, and looked at her with a hint of eagerness in his eyes. Li Qinxue looked at him expressionlessly, and didn't move. The past that she had just recalled made her mood very bad. Su Qinghui acted as if he didn't notice. Since you're here, you can't just watch, right? There was a smile on his face, and his expression was gentle. At this moment, Li Qinxue couldn't control the irritation in her body. She had the urge to slap the smile on his face. She gripped the racket in her hand tightly, and the irritation in her heart turned into hostility. She looked at him coldly, turned around, and took the lead to walk to another tennis court next to the block net. It wasn't that Su Qinghui didn't feel the change in her mood at that moment. Although he didn't know why her expression suddenly changed, as long as she was willing to answer him, it was a kind of progress. He followed behind her, and the two of them stood on either side. Standing behind the end line, Li Qinxue served first. She held the ball in her hand, exerted force with her wrist, and threw the ball into the air. Then she swung the racket. The tennis ball flew towards Su Qinghui. He had been holding the racket tightly. When he saw the ball flying over, he was ready to go. The ball hit the ground and bounced. Su Qinghui swung the racket. The tennis ball flew over again. Li Qinxue was annoyed, and she hit the ball a little hard. Although she wasn't young, because she had been diligent in taking care of herself over the years, and usually exercised, her physical strength was naturally not bad compared to her peers. Su Qinghui sensed that she was in a bad mood. When a few of the balls flew over, it could be said that they were aimed directly at his face. He didn't know how he had offended her. Since she had done her best, he had no reason not to fight. For a moment, the two of them were fighting fiercely. Director Gao and Director Chen were not much older than the two of them, but they couldn't compete with them in terms of physical strength, so they had already retreated. On the other side, only Li Junxing and Wang Tao were left to fight alone. Director Chen and Director Gao watched Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue fight so fiercely. They looked at Li Junxing and Wang Tao, and their physical strength was still very good. Therefore, during the intermission, they suggested that Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue play against Wang Tao and Li Junxing. Li Qianxue played well, but Su Qinghui wasn't inferior. He was taught by her, so he was very familiar with her style. Li Qianxue didn't take advantage of him, and the two of them barely tied. Now that she heard Director Chen's suggestion, she looked at Su Qinghui and thought of Li Junxing's skills just now, so she wanted to suggest that she be in a team with Li Junxing. Unexpectedly, Li Junxing heard about it and said that he wanted to form a team with Wang Tao. This way, it became Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue on a team, and Li Junxing and Wang Tao on a team. Li Qianxue wanted to refuse, but Su Qinghui had already gone to the court. Looking at Li Junxing, who was sweating but in high spirits, she could only follow him to the side. When Li Qianxue approached, Su Qinghui said in a very low voice, "I'll serve first later. We'll attack first to defend. I know how to play. I don't need you to teach me." "Qianxue, I saw Li Junxing play just now. His skills are not bad." Su Qinghui sincerely praised him. Even he had to sigh with emotion at a young man like Li Junxing, who had extraordinary skills. The new generation surpassed the old. His skills were not bad. He knew that Li Qianxue didn't want to be in a team with him, but he also knew that she hadn't vented her anger just now. "Look, we can." He approached her and wanted to talk about the tactics between the two of them. His hot breath touched Li Qianxue's cheek. She didn't want to listen at all and took a step back. "Su Qinghui, do you want me to remind you? I taught you how to play." Su Qinghui was speechless and didn't say anything else. Of course, Li Qianxue was the one who taught him in the beginning, but later, he had more opportunities to play than her. After Li Qianxue finished speaking, she didn't look at him anymore. She picked up the racket and stood on the end line. Su Qinghui looked at her position and stood beside her. This time Li Junxing served first. Su Qinghui didn't move. He looked at Li Qianxue's eyes and let her catch the ball. Li Qianxue played very fiercely. The anger in her heart hadn't dissipated yet. She didn't like to recall the past. Every time she recalled it, it made her feel uncomfortable. Now that there were others around, she couldn't vent her anger on Su Qinghui, so she could only vent it through the ball. After a few rounds, Li Junxing's desire to play just now disappeared. He didn't seem to expect Li Qianxue to have such good skills at her age. For a moment, both Li Junxing and Wang Tao were doing their best to deal with her. After a few rounds, Su Qinghui also cooperated with Li Qianxue. The two of them were extremely strong. Li Junxing and Wang Tao, the two juniors, couldn't gain the upper hand for a while. At the end of the game, Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui actually won. Li Qianxue was already sweating. She held the racket and felt that the frustration in her heart had dissipated a lot. "Auntie, you have good skills," Li Junxing praised sincerely. The other party was Hu Jinyao's mother-in-law, so he would always give her some face. This sentence was from the bottom of his heart. It's more than good skills. Wang Tao's forehead was covered in sweat, but because he had seen it a few times recently, he joked. "Speaking of which, President Li and President Su work really well together. Wasn't that so? They went back and forth, you advanced and I retreated. Whether it was defense or offense, the two of them were very tacit. I always thought that my skills were good, but I didn't expect that." Wang Tao panted and wanted to say that he had lost to the two old people. However, looking at the two of them who looked much younger because of their sportswear and didn't look much older than him, he really couldn't say the word old people. "Auntie and uncle are indeed amazing." Li Junxing was a little panting after playing for a long time. Especially the two of them work well together. Director Gao didn't know much about the Li family. When he saw this, he couldn't help but praise, as expected of a married couple for many years. This tacit understanding is really incomparable to ordinary people. Director Chen also praised, But Li Qinshua's expression changed at this moment. Su Qinghui smiled, and that smile came from the bottom of his heart. He stood beside Li Qinshui, and the corners of his lips curled up slightly. Yes, after more than 12 years of husband and wife, the tacit understanding is indeed incomparable. The corners of Li Qinshui's lips were also curled up, but there was a hidden gloominess in her calm eyes. She couldn't lose her temper. Li Junxing looked at Li Qinshui and Su Qinghui and raised his hand. Let's rest for a while. We'll play again later. The 6 of them sat down, and the few of them walked to the chairs placed beside them. Su Qinghui and Li Qinshui fell behind. Su Qinghui walked to the seat and pulled out the chair for her. Li Qinshui almost wanted to leave immediately, but now was not the time. She had no choice but to sit down. After playing for a while, everyone was a little thirsty. The few men didn't care much. They picked up the water on the table and drank directly. Su Qinghui called the waiter at the stadium and asked them to bring warm water over. She can't drink cold water. President Li is so considerate. Director Chen smiled with a teasing expression on his face. Isn't that so? I heard that President Li and President Su are the model couple of Lin City, but I didn't believe it. Today I see that it's true. Li Qinshui really wanted to stand up now. Li Junxing knew that the 2 of them had divorced, but he didn't know the inside story. Seeing that the 2 of them were working together on a project, and working so well together, they were probably going to remarry, right? President Li and President Su's tacit understanding is indeed very good, Wang Tao answered. During this period of time, he had spent a lot of time with the 2 of them, so he naturally knew more about them. Almost everything Su Qinghui said, Li Qinshui could immediately follow up. The 2 of them often understood what the other person meant as long as the other person started the conversation. Sometimes they didn't even need to speak. They could understand what the other person wanted to say, just by looking at each other. What he didn't know was that even though Su Qinghui and Li Qinshui hadn't been on good terms for so many years, their tacit understanding in business was indeed shown. As long as it was related to the Li Corporation, the 2 of them could always reach an agreement. This had nothing to do with feelings. It was purely a habit of time. Li Qinshui knew that Su Qinghui didn't like her, but she wouldn't be sloppy in business. As for Su Qinghui, he had changed the child on impulse as revenge. It would be a lie to say that he didn't regret it. However, the longer time passed, the more there was no way to reverse it. He could only focus on business. After old Master Li fell ill, the power of the Li Corporation was almost completely handed over to the 2 of them. It had nothing to do with love. The tacit understanding that had been honed for 20 years might be completely suitable for business at first. However, after a long time, they would eventually figure it out in private matters. If others said that they had a good tacit understanding, Li Qinshui wouldn't be able to refute it at all. Not only could she not refute it, but she couldn't even get up and leave. Because Director Gao was also here today, he brought the latest developments of the factory that had attracted investment. The group of people sat down and rested for a while. Director Gao finally spoke. Mayor Li came to me a few days ago and talked about the land in the North District. Coincidentally, Director Zhou of the Environmental Protection Bureau was also there. He talked about some problems that day, but the higher-ups haven't approved it yet. Although that land is in the suburbs, it's still too close to the city. If the other party really opens a factory there, the Environmental Protection Bureau won't be able to approve it, so this matter will be left alone. You can rest assured now. Today, he asked Li Qinshui out, which meant this matter. Now, everywhere was paying attention to environmental protection, and environmental protection was above performance. It was also Director Zhou who found out that the company had a bad record and illegally discharged pollutants in other cities. Now that they wanted to open a factory, they had to relocate the site, and the approval would be stricter than before. Li Junxing turned to look at Li Qinshui when he heard this. Auntie, can you rest assured now? With Mayor Li here, I have nothing to worry about. Li Qinshui's words were beautiful. She also praised Li Junxing at the same time. Li Junxing smiled. He had been in Lin City for more than 2 years. There was a transfer order from the higher-ups, so he wouldn't be staying in Lin City for long. However, he really didn't want something bad to happen in Lin City while he was here. That factory could indeed record a performance, but on the other hand, if there were any sequelae in the future, it would also be used against him for not doing a good job. Therefore, after giving Director Zhou a warning, this matter could only be left unsettled. At the same time, he could give the Li family and Tianyu group face, so it didn't affect him. The group of people used the land in the North District to chat. After chatting, they played football for a while. It was already evening. Li Junxing was the host and invited them to dinner. Li Qianxue couldn't refuse. The land in the North District was under Su Qinghui's plan. Even if a factory was built, it wouldn't affect her much. But now that a new business circle was built, it could bring the Li Corporation's performance to a higher level. If she wanted to accept this favor, it was impossible for her not to go to social events. It was just that with Su Qinghui around, she was still annoyed. After getting into the car, her expression didn't look good. At the dining table, Director Chun and Director Gao could be considered experienced people and had excellent alcohol tolerance. Li Junxing was the heaviest drinker, but he drank a few glasses. Wang Tao had been working with Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui a lot recently, so he toasted the two of them. Li Qianxue didn't drink at first, but it was because Su Qinghui stood up and blocked the wine for her. Although they were divorced, others didn't know the inside story. When they were arranging seats, the two of them sat together again. Su Qinghui sat next to Li Qianxue. When Director Chun came over to toast, he took the initiative to stand up and pick up the glass in front of him. Qianxue isn't good at drinking, so I'll drink for her. After saying that, he drank the wine in the glass in one gulp. Li Qianxue looked at him like this. Those who didn't know the truth would think that they weren't divorced. At first, he blocked 2 glasses of wine for her, but she didn't say anything. When it was the 3rd glass, the anger in Li Qianxue's heart couldn't be suppressed anymore. Chapter 719. With others around, Li Qianxue's expression was restrained, but the anger in her heart was very strong. At this age, she was also very good at hiding her thoughts. She stood up gently with a glass of red wine in her hand. Although my alcohol tolerance is low, it doesn't matter if I drink a few glasses. As she spoke, she looked at Su Qinghui with a hidden sharpness in her eyes. It's just a few glasses, and we're all acquaintances. It doesn't matter. Holding back from saying more unpleasant and sharp words, she first toasted Li Junxing. Mayor Li, let me toast you. In the past 2 years, Mayor Li has been young and promising in Lin City. Our Li Corporation has been under your care. Auntie, you're welcome. This was Hu Jiniao's mother-in-law. Li Junxing didn't dare to be arrogant, so he picked up the wine and drank it in one gulp. Li Qianxue's glass was also empty. She poured another glass and toasted Wang Tao first. Then Chief Chen and Chief Gao. Each of them had a glass of wine, but they only drank 4 glasses. Su Qinghui wanted to stop them several times, but the situation in front of him was beyond his control. Unexpectedly, in the end, Li Qianxue poured another glass of wine and toasted him. This glass of wine, I toast you. Su Qinghui looked at Li Qianxue. Ever since the divorce, Li Qianxue's eyes were filled with disgust and hatred. How could he have expected that she would toast him? She drank a few glasses, and her face was a little red. In addition to the calmness brought about by age, Su Qinghui felt his heart beat faster. Qianxue, let me toast you. Thank you for all these years, for your care for your children, and for taking care of me. The last 2 sentences were said slowly and methodically. Those words made Su Qinghui's expression change slightly. Li Qianxue picked up the wine and drank it in one gulp. Only then did she sit down again, pick up the dishes in front of her, and eat casually with her chopsticks. The dinner continued. With Chief Chen and Chief Gao around, the atmosphere was naturally good. At first, the two of them went for Li Junxing. Later, they found that Li Junxing's attitude toward Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui was very congratulatory, so they toasted the two of them again. Li Qianxue originally didn't drink, but in order to compete with Su Qinghui, she drank a few glasses. This time, she didn't refuse and drank another round. After drinking for 30 minutes, Li Qinxue was already tipsy. Her alcohol tolerance wasn't bad. But today she was drinking in a fit of pique, and on an empty stomach. After a while, it was inevitable that she would get drunk. On the other end, Director Chen was extremely tactless. He had no intention of ending it at all. On the other end, Li Qinxue was already a little intoxicated, and her eyes were red. Su Qinghui looked at her and stood up. Mayor Li Qinxue is drunk. I'll take her back first. Hearing that, Li Qinxue stood up and wanted to say that she wasn't drunk. His legs went soft, and he almost fell back down. Su Qinghui quickly held her up and didn't let her sit down. I'm not drunk. She was just a little drunk. Li Qinxue looked at Su Qinghui with red eyes. I'm not leaving. Normally, she would not allow herself to lose control like this. First of all, she drank wine today. Second, Su Qinghui was there. She always felt that she could not suppress the trace of madness in her heart. She grabbed Su Qinghui with both hands and was about to lose her temper. Qinxue. Su Qinghui held her hand. After being married for so many years, he roughly knew what she looked like when she was angry. Over the years, there weren't many things that could make her angry, but he knew. You're drunk. Dad will worry about you. Let's go back first. His voice was very soft, as if he was coaxing a little girl. Li Qinxue blinked and looked at Su Qinghui. Time passed, and for a moment, she thought she saw that man again. When he first entered the company, his performance had amazed her. From then on, her heart was secretly in love with him, and it was out of control. Su Qinghui? Yes, let's go home first. As he spoke, he glanced at Li Junxing with an apologetic expression. Mayor Li, since Auntie is drunk, hurry up and take Auntie back. Li Junxing didn't dare to ask Hua Jinyao's mother-in-law to stay and drink with them. He waved his hand and signaled for them to leave first. Su Qinghui supported Li Qinxue and left. Li Junxing was fine, but Wang Tao couldn't help but click his tongue. I really didn't expect that at this age, if feelings were good, they would be even more affectionate than young people. Wang Tao had never seen Su Qinghui's expression when he was talking to his girlfriend, not even when they were passionately in love. Yes, Chief Chen nodded. Their relationship is really good. Yes, their relationship is really good. Li Junxing added a comment. It could be considered a conclusion. Li Qinxue, who was outside, had no idea that she and Su Qinghui had been misunderstood. She was drunk now, and her legs were a little weak. Su Qinghui had also drunk, so it was naturally not good for him to drive. So when Xiao Zhao drove the car over, he helped Li Qinxue into the car. Sir, after being in the Li family for a long time, he naturally knew Su Qinghui's identity. Let's go. Let's go back. Su Qinghui was worried about Li Qinxue, so he had to follow. Xiao Zhao didn't say much and drove quietly. Li Qinxue became more and more dizzy as she walked. She frowned as if she was feeling uncomfortable. Although her alcohol tolerance wasn't bad, she rarely drank in the past few years. Not to mention that they were drinking white wine just now. Su Qinghui smelled the alcohol on her. He wanted to pour her a glass of water, but when he thought that the water in the car was cold, he could only forget it. There was still some distance from the Li family. Su Qinghui saw her frown, so he reached out and placed his hand on her forehead, gently pressing it for her. Su Qinghui's mother was a nurse. Back then, Su Qinghui often went to the hospital with her. Sometimes he watched his mother nurse the patients and learned a few tricks. It was just that he couldn't find anyone to practice with. Su Qingsang had been obsessed with learning medicine back then. He couldn't help but think that perhaps it was a transgenerational inheritance. Li Qinxue was indeed uncomfortable. Being pressed by Su Qinghui like this, she relaxed a lot. Her brows weren't so tightly knitted. Xiao Tao, be gentle. She thought that he was a servant at home, so she wasn't polite at all when she ordered him around. Su Qinghui didn't correct her, nor did he speak. He pressed on her head. Li Qinxue was a little drowsy from his pressure. When the car stopped at the Li family's house, she had already closed her eyes. Sir. Xiao Zhao turned around and looked at Su Qinghui. He shook his head. I'll send her in. Because she had been working out for a long time, Li Qinxue wasn't heavy, so Su Qinghui didn't have much trouble carrying her. When he entered the door, he found that old Master Li wasn't there. He carried Li Qianxue upstairs with familiarity. He put her down on the bed and asked Xiaotao to go to the kitchen to prepare a bowl of hangover tea. He usually had a lot of social engagements, so the Li family's kitchen always had hangover tea. The tea was quickly served. Li Qianxue was drunk and wasn't willing to drink it. Qianxue. Su Qinghui's voice was extremely gentle. Come drink. Wine. Li Qianxue blinked her eyes, as if she had finally listened to him at this moment, and opened her mouth as he wished. After drinking more than half of the bowl of tea, Li Qianxue refused to drink it. It tastes bad. Su Qinghui didn't force her. He saw that her eyes were tightly closed, as if she was uncomfortable because of the wine, or because she was really drunk. Seeing that she had lost consciousness, he put her back on the bed and took off her coat and shoes. Su Qinghui's gaze swept over her body, and for a moment he was conflicted. Should he take off her clothes for her? This thought made him feel like he was taking advantage of her. You were once husband and wife, Su Qinghui said in his heart. However, he didn't do anything further. Instead, he just sat by the bed and looked at Li Qianxue. She had always been a good drinker. Even if she was drunk, she would just sleep quietly. Li Qianxue was a very particular person. It would definitely be uncomfortable for her to sleep with her clothes on. Su Qinghui struggled for about a minute, and finally chose to help Li Qianxue take off her clothes. His movements were very gentle. The two of them had been married for many years, but this was the first time he had helped her take off her clothes. The previous 2 times he had been drunk. He really couldn't remember how he had done it. Li Qianxue had a good figure. She paid attention to her health and took good care of herself. She was slightly thin, and her clothes were all the smallest size. Having 2 children didn't affect her much. Her skin, which was taken care of regularly at the beauty salon every week, was as smooth as snow. Su Qinghui unexpectedly felt a little thirsty. Living a nearly pure life for more than 20 years didn't mean that he didn't have desires, but he just didn't put his mind to them. He had done many things over the years, such as changing the identities of Su Qingsang and Su Peijian. For example, because of the trace of awkwardness in his heart, he couldn't face Li Qianxue properly. However, this did not mean that he could really become a Lixiaoyi, to the point where he could become a monk. Her clothes gradually fell, and her covered body fell into his eyes. His breathing gradually became heavier. When his hand was placed on the buckle behind her, his forehead was sweating. As he unbuttoned the buckle, the sweat on his forehead almost dripped down. After staring at the beautiful scenery for a while, he closed his eyes and untied the restraints for her. Then, using his strongest self-control, he pulled the quilt up and covered her body. He sat on the edge of the bed and panted heavily. His gaze fell on Li Qianxue's face. Her breathing was long, and she seemed to be really asleep. He looked at her face, and his hand gently raised, stroking her cheek. Such peaceful moments were very rare for both him and her. Most of the time, the atmosphere between them wasn't very good. No, there were also times when it eased up. At that time, Su Peijian was gradually growing up. For the first time, he and Li Qianxue's educational philosophy had diverged. He wanted his daughter to be happy, but Li Qianxue had trained Su Peijian according to the standards of an heir. At the age of 4, she began to hire someone to teach Su Peijian how to play the piano. At the age of 5, she hired a home tutor to teach her lessons. He hoped that Su Peijian could have the happiness of an ordinary person, but Li Qianxue felt that as the heir of the Li family, these were all things she had to learn. In the end, he and Li Qianxue kept arguing, and finally, Li Qianxue gave in. She agreed to reduce some of Su Peijian's homework, but the time schedule had to be arranged according to her. According to Li Qianxue's idea, Su Peijian didn't even need to go to kindergarten. After all, she was much smarter than those people. Su Qinghui objected, and the two of them kept mediating before finally reaching an agreement. After Su Peijian went to kindergarten, she was much happier than at home. It was also at that time that he started to treat Li Qianxue well. He thought that maybe this was it for the rest of his life. He and Li Qianxue guarded Su Peijian, and just like that, they spent the rest of their lives together. During that time, he started to treat her well, and when she saw the happiness on Su Peijian's face, she finally stopped being stubborn. During that period of time, he had been convincing himself to spend the rest of his life with Li Qianxue. That was also good. Even if she couldn't be on the same level as him, at least, they worked well together in business. At that time, the Li Corporation completed several projects quite well, and he became famous in the Li Corporation. As more and more people worked under him, he and Li Qianxue got along more and more. After the first few years of working together, the two of them had an extraordinary tacit understanding. Sometimes, when they encountered a particularly difficult case, the two of them would think of a solution together. Occasionally, when they encountered a very difficult client, the two of them would go out together. He and Li Qianxue played the good cop and the bad cop. They could always fight for the greatest benefits for the group. Su Qinghui admired Li Qianxue very much. However, he wouldn't say it out loud. He felt that it was an established fact that he didn't like her. He couldn't see what he was like when he was with her. And he couldn't imagine what he would be like if he lost Li Qianxue. At that time, he actually fell into a mental barrier. Emotions and reason conflicted. On the one hand, he knew that his appreciation for Li Qianxue was definitely not just for work. On the other hand, he was very conflicted. He felt that the more he appreciated Li Qianxue, the more he betrayed Xiang Kaiping. The repeated conflict made his attitude toward Li Qianxue always be lukewarm. His relationship with Li Qianxue was difficult to break. He occasionally peeped into the hidden thoughts in his heart, but it only made him more conflicted. A beauty like Li Qianxue slept in the same bed with him every day. How could he really be indifferent? But the more he desired, the more he despised himself. He wasn't competing with Li Qianxue. Instead, he seemed to be competing with himself. He was afraid that once he took that step he would lose. He couldn't lose. He was young and frivolous and didn't understand love. He didn't know how ridiculous his contradictions and entanglements were. Looking back at it now, what was self-esteem? So what if he was proud? Those missed times could never be looked back. The regret had been caused, and he couldn't take it back. In fact, at that time, he also thought about it in extreme contradiction. Since he couldn't divorce Li Qianxue, and it was impossible to separate, then so be it. Su Qinghui made up his mind to live a good life with Li Qianxue. However, he didn't expect that the accident would come so quickly. Su Qinghui's mother, Jiang Mei, was a nurse. She used to work in the same hospital as Xiang Caiping's mother. In the second half of the year when Su Peijian was 7 years old, Jiang Mei fell ill. She was seriously ill. She knew in her heart that Li Qianxue loved her son very much. She also knew that Su Qinghui and Li Qianxue were considered to be of higher status than the Su family. Therefore, she and her husband had been living in their original bungalow. They didn't want to take advantage of the Li family. The two of them also loved Su Peijian, their granddaughter, very much. But that didn't mean that they didn't feel guilty. Xiang Kaiping was alone. After her parents died, she stayed with them. But they didn't take good care of her. And now they didn't even know where she was. The elders of the Su family didn't know that Su Qinghui had switched children. They had seen Su Qingsang a few times in private. They doted on this child. But they were afraid that if they were too close, Li Qianxue would dislike them. In particular, Su Qinghui was afraid that the secret would be exposed. So he didn't want his parents to be too close to Su Qingsang. A huge psychological pressure was on the two old people, especially Jiang Mei, who always felt that she had let down Xiang Caiping's mother and Xiang Kaiping. After she fell ill that year, she made a request to Su Qinghui, asking him to find a way to find Xiang Kaiping. If you can be better to that child. Kaiping has suffered too much. That child has suffered too much. Chenghui, I know you are a good child, but our family has let Kaiping down. Just promise me, okay? When his mother held his hand and asked him to find Xiang Kaiping, and not mistreat Su Qingsang, Su Qinghui's heart suddenly felt sad. How could he not feel that he had let Xiang Kaiping down? Another woman had to pay for his mistake, and Su Qingsang as well. He was not really cold-blooded, nor was he really heartless. In the middle of the night, he had also regretted his choice. However, on one hand, there was the secret that could not be told. And on the other hand, There was his regret that could not be seen by others. He was in a dilemma, but he chose to ignore it. It was not until Jiang Mei passed away that the conflict in his heart reached its peak. His mother wanted him to find Xiang Kaiping, but he did not do it. His mother was so concerned about his and Xiang Kaiping's child that he could not even let her recognize her. Not long after Jiang Mei's death, Su Qinghui's father also passed away unexpectedly. Su Qinghui, who had lost his parents one after another, was very depressed. Especially when the doctor said that he was too worried, it made him feel more and more guilty. If only he had not given up on Xiang Kaiping. If only he had not let Xiang Kaiping go. These two thoughts alternated, making the feelings he had for Li Qianxue disappear without a trace. The guilt accumulated deeper and deeper. Finally, one night, when he was drunk, he used the stench of alcohol to act like a drunkard. He once again had Li Qianxue, and he also felt that he was very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. What he wanted to do was to stay away from her. But he wanted to get close. If he wanted to get close, he had to use the effect of alcohol. At that time, how ridiculous and cowardly was he? When he woke up the next day, before Li Qianxue could say anything, he put the blame on her. Yesterday was just an accident. I was drunk. Don't worry, I don't love you. Even if I have sex with you, I won't love you. Li Qianxue, I really hate me like this. He actually couldn't remember what else he said after that. Anyway, it would not be good words. No. It should be said that when he faced Li Qianxue, he did not say many good words. Not a single one. That was the simplest. What happened after that? How did the two of them get to where they were today? Li Qianxue had 2 children with him. Both of them were accidents. He did not expect Li Qianxue to get pregnant so easily. It was just one night, but she was pregnant again. Su Qinghui, who knew this, did not feel the slightest joy. His heart was full of guilt and self-blame. He had betrayed Xiang Kaiping once, and now he had betrayed Xiang Kaiping for the second time. Su Peixian, he could still make up for some of his guilt towards Xiang Kaiping by changing her identity. But what about the one in Li Qianxue's stomach? He couldn't think of it, and he didn't know what else he could do now that things had developed to this point. He was conflicted. He did something that even he despised. During that period of time, just like now, his relationship with Li Qianxue had dropped to the freezing point. And when Li Qianxue was pregnant with Su Yusen, he did not pay any attention to his conflicted thoughts from beginning to end. For him, the previous child was not what he was looking forward to, and this child was even more so not. Later, Su Qinghui closed his eyes and suppressed the bitterness that flashed through them. There were some things that he did not want to recall, not at all. But now he realized that those memories were so clear. It was so clear as if it had just happened yesterday. And the regret in his heart could no longer be eliminated. Looking at Li Qianxue, who was sleeping soundly, he held her hand and placed it on his face. How casual and unscrupulous he had been in the past. How much he regretted it now. If they had not done those things, they might still have a chance to do it again. But now, Su Qingsang and Su Peixian's background had been exposed, and his secret could no longer be hidden in front of her. Li Qianxue completely understood his despicable and selfish behavior in the past. Now that he thought about it carefully, he felt that he was unforgivable. What face did he have? And what right did he have to ask Li Qianxue to forgive him? Su Qinghui couldn't think of it. Looking at Li Qianxue's sleeping face, he tried very hard to control himself. In the end, he silently lay down beside her and stared straight at her. He wanted to sleep, but he didn't dare to. This rare opportunity to get close to her seemed especially precious after Li Qianxue was drunk. He stared at Li Qianxue like this until sleepiness hit him. With the effect of alcohol, he fell asleep. When Li Qianxue woke up, her head didn't hurt very much. She didn't know that someone had massaged her head for a long time yesterday, which made her body a lot lighter today. Xiaodao. Li Qianxue closed her eyes and called out. She realized that her voice was a little hoarse. Not only was it hoarse, but her head also hurt a little. Pour me a glass of water. She called out, but no one answered. She reached out to touch the button by the bedside and waited for Xiaodao to come up. However, she didn't touch the button, but she touched a warm body. Li Qinshua's hand touched it, and even touched it left and right. Was this a chest? A flat, strong man's chest? Why was there a man's chest in her room? Li Qinshu woke up almost instantly. She sat up and widened her eyes. She saw that it was on the other side of the bed. Su Qinghui was lying on his side, his eyes tightly closed. Seeing Su Qinghui, Li Qinshua's entire body stiffened. Her mind spun quickly, and she began to recall what happened yesterday. Needless to say, she drank some wine last night. That wine made her drunk. Then what? Su Qinghui took the opportunity to send her home, and then went to her bed? She lowered her head and looked at her body. Other than the underwear below, she was almost naked. Su Qinghui must have taken off her clothes. There was no doubt. Her body didn't have any discomfort, and it wasn't like the previous 2 times, which made her a little uncomfortable. In other words, Su Qinghui didn't really do anything to her. However, even if he didn't do anything to her, he probably did a lot of things that he shouldn't have, right? Chapter 720. Li Qinshu glared at Su Qinghui with unfriendly eyes. Looking at Su Qinghui, the man who had ruined most of her life, she had tried her best to avoid him. But in the end, she found that there was no way to avoid him. The two of them had the same child and common interests. It was almost impossible not to see Su Qinghui. But this didn't mean that she had to accept Su Qinghui. She lifted her foot and kicked at Su Qinghui, who was still sleeping. In the past, Li Qinshu would never do such a rude action, but now she was too angry. But she had just woken up and drank a lot yesterday. This kick really didn't have much strength, and it didn't kick Su Qinghui off the bed at all. Su Qinghui opened his eyes, and saw Li Qinshu glaring at him with an angry face. She had been stripped naked by him yesterday, and even the quilt couldn't cover her body. She was so angry that she forgot to cover herself. Qinshu. The familiar environment, the familiar aura, and the familiar person. For a moment, Su Qinghui thought that they hadn't divorced yet, and that they were still in their previous marriage. Su Qinghui. Li Qinshu looked at him with a cold face. She was very dissatisfied with his shameless behavior yesterday. I really didn't know that after the divorce, your skin became so thick. Su Qinghui sat up. Li Qinshu's words quickly reminded him of everything that happened last night. Qinshu, I didn't. You didn't what? Li Qinshu sneered. You didn't sleep with me? Or you didn't take advantage of me? He really didn't do that with her. But taking advantage of her, taking off her clothes and seeing her naked shouldn't count, right? Before Su Qinghui could explain, Li Qinshu had already slapped him in the face. She had just woken up, so she didn't use much strength. However, the slap still made Su Qinghui's face turn to the side. Qinshu, I didn't. Another slap. This time, it was the other side of his face that was slapped. Su Qinghui was slapped twice in a row. He didn't explain, and just looked at Li Qinshu. Li Qinshu didn't realize what she had done in anger, until she finished slapping him. Her slightly numb palm was still hanging in the air. She retracted her hand, and stepped back a little. The anger in her heart was released a little because of the slap, but it did not dissipate. Especially when he saw his current situation. Su Qinghui didn't defend himself, didn't dodge, and let her hit him, which made her unable to vent her anger. She looked at him, turned around and got out of bed. Yesterday, Su Qinghui had taken off her shoes and put them on the other side of the bed. There was a carpet in the room, and she was too lazy to wear shoes, so she just stepped on it. Su Qinghui stood up and held her hand. Qinshu, let me go. Su Qinghui looked at her face and said very seriously, Qinshu, I didn't take advantage of you, nor did I do anything to you. Li Qinshu turned to look at him. There were 2 faint handprints on his face. She didn't have much strength, so she believed that it would disappear after a while. You didn't take advantage of me? Are you trying to tell me that Xiaotao was the one who helped me take off my clothes? Su Qinghui was speechless and shook his head gently. I took off your clothes. But I really didn't. Nothing. Li Qinshu just stood there. Even if Su Qinghui didn't want to, he had seen it clearly. He looked up and forced himself to focus on her face. Qinshu, you know, Li Qianxue had been lying in the same bed with Su Qinghui all these years, and she had already given birth to 2 children. At such an age, it was difficult for her to be shy like a little girl. She felt angry, because she hated Su Qinghui. Anything that had to do with him was enough to make her angry. This kind of emotion was very intense, and it was not something she couldn't control. Su Qinghui, do you think I'm especially cheap? Qianxue. I said I didn't. Su Qinghui, do you think that because I used to love you, I would forgive you no matter what you say or do? Do you think that after so many years, I couldn't get what I wanted from you? So when you were willing to love me, when you were willing to be with me, I had to be grateful. I had to immediately wash myself clean and agree to your request to start over? I didn't think so. Su Qinghui wanted to explain, but Li Qianxue didn't listen at all. 27 years, right? 27 years. I couldn't make you fall in love with me. I didn't make you fall in love with me. In the end, after we divorced, you said that you fell in love with me. Do you think I would believe you? Su Qinghui, do you think I'm especially stupid? Su Qinghui's lips moved, and Li Qianxue withdrew her hand. Actually, I really don't want to say these things. It's boring, you know? It's over, and it's impossible. It's not that you're good to me, and it's not that you can always work hard. I've worked hard, and I've been good to you, but my hard work didn't yield results. And I didn't even have a good result. Now do you think your hard work is useful? I didn't think so. Su Qinghui finally had a chance to speak. I've said it before. Even if you don't forgive me for the rest of your life, even if you continue to hate me for the rest of your life, I don't mind. Because I owe you this. I just want to be by your side as much as possible. I want to do something for you within my power. Don't you understand? To me, the so-called within my power is for you to stay away from me. The further the better. That way, I'll even thank you. Qianxue. Su Qinghui smiled bitterly. Of all the conditions, this was the only one that he couldn't agree to. Su Qinghui. I'll say it again. Every time you appear, you remind me of my stupidity and blindness. Also remind me of the mistakes I've made. Do you understand? You're not wrong. I'm the one who's wrong. Seeing Li Qianxue like this made Su Qinghui's heart ache. He took a step forward and wanted to say something, but Li Qianxue raised her hand. She took a step back. No, you're not wrong. I'm the one who's wrong. At this time, her clothes were clearly disheveled, but the emotions in her eyes were sad. The biggest mistake in my life is that I shouldn't have fallen in love with you. Su Qinghui's body trembled, and he couldn't say anything else. I've already paid a huge price for this mistake. So I've fixed this mistake now. Su Qinghui, I beg you. I've already put my life on the right track. Please stay away from me, and let me walk on my own path of life, okay? After saying this, she went straight into the bathroom. Su Qinghui was left sitting there, his face pale. Perhaps what she said that day had some effect. In the next few days, Li Qianxue didn't see Su Qinghui again. This made her somewhat relieved. However, before she could completely relax, Wei Ting came. During this period of time, Wei Ting hadn't come to look for her, but there were quite a few calls. She knew that Wei Ting had gone on a business trip. His company was developing well. She could often see news about their company in the financial section. Although he didn't come to look for her, his phone calls and messages had never stopped. Dear Qianxue, I'm back. Wei Ting entered her office like a child, holding a large bouquet of perfumed lilies in his hand. Flowers for the beauty. He placed the bouquet of flowers in front of Li Qianxue, but she didn't take it. I don't think I said I had time to see you. But you didn't say you weren't free. As Wei Ting spoke, he placed the bouquet of flowers on her desk. Li Qianxue wanted him to take the flowers away, but he raised his hands at this moment. I haven't seen you for so long. Don't you miss me? I don't. You really know how to hurt my heart. Since you don't miss me, then I must do something to make you miss me. Li Qianxue looked at him in confusion. Wei Ting waved his hands in front of Li Qianxue. 1, 2, 3 change. She didn't know how he did it, but with a turn of his hand, an exquisite box appeared in his hand. He placed the box in front of her. A gift for you. Wei Ting. Li Qianxue looked at the logo on the velvet box. She knew this brand. It was a relatively niche jewelry brand. Although it was a niche brand, every accessory was not cheap. Open it and see if you like it. Wei Ting ignored her rejection. He saw that Li Qinxue had no intention of opening it. He took the initiative to open the box. I chose it for a long time, and then I thought it suited you very well. Even if you don't like it, you should take a look at it for the sake of me coming all the way home to bring you a gift, right? The box opened, revealing the jewelry inside. It was a very simple earring with 2 snowflakes. It was extremely small. It was inlaid with broken diamonds, low-key and unique. Li Qinxue had a lot of jewelry. As the president of the Li family, not to mention the jewelry she used every time she went out to decorate her appearance. She received it on her birthday, and there was a special room at home to store her jewelry. However, looking at this gift, and then at Wei Ting, she was more or less touched by his kindness. Thank you. As long as you like it. Wei Ting picked up the pair of earrings and looked at Li Qinshue's earlobes. Can I help you put it on? No need. Li Qinxue subconsciously refused, but Wei Ting walked around the desk, picked up one of them, and stood beside Li Qinxue. Whether it looks good or not, you'll only know after you put it on. Wei Ting said so. Li Qinxue didn't have time to refuse. He bent down and carefully put the pair of earrings on her. Li Qinxue was a little uncomfortable, but she couldn't avoid his hand. It's done. Wei Ting put it on, but he didn't retreat to the other side of the desk. Instead, he turned Li Qinshue's chair around, put his hands on both sides of the chair, and stared at her face. Qinxue, it's very beautiful. It suits you very well. Thank you. Li Qinxue didn't show much surprise at his praise. Her gaze swept across his hands on both sides of the armrest. Can you let go first? No. Wei Ting lowered his body and looked at her. Qinxue, I like you. You know that, right? Wei Ting. Although I know it's a little shameless to say this, I still have to say it. Qinxue, can you give me a chance to pursue you? His gaze was very serious. Li Qinxue wanted to refuse, but Wei Ting placed a finger on her lips. During my business trip, I went to many places and negotiated several contracts. If it was in the past, I would feel very accomplished and happy. But this time, my sense of accomplishment is very low, and my happiness is even lower. He moved his face forward a little. Do you know why? He didn't need Li Qinshue's answer. He just wanted to tell her. Because I don't have you, and I miss you very much. Wei Ting. For someone who was so much younger than her, Li Qinxue almost wanted to treat him as someone from the younger generation. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't touched when he said such words in front of her. But because she was touched, she knew that it was only because she was touched, not love. She grabbed his hand. Her tone was very soft, but her attitude was very firm. You will meet better women in the future. Maybe. Wei Ting nodded. But those women aren't you. Wei Ting, don't be like this. Qinxue, I know your concerns and I understand your thoughts. Can I take a step back now? Give me a chance, let me pursue you. If you really can't fall in love with me in the end, I promise not to pester you. How about that? President Wei wasn't bad looking. He could even be said to be handsome. He had a pair of very beautiful eyes. When he stared at someone like this, one could see his own shadow in them. It was really difficult for Li Qinshuo to reject Wei Ting like this. But it was only very difficult. Since you know that there's no result, why waste time? She really didn't want to hurt him. But there were some things that she knew better than him. I won't love you, I never will. No matter how long you pursue me, it'll be the same. You won't love me because of Su Qinghui? What's so good about him? He's older than me, and I believe that his physical strength isn't as good as mine. Also he has already divorced you. Li Qinshuo heard his words, and at this moment, she unexpectedly wanted to laugh. Su Qinghui was indeed older than Wei Ting, but she knew that his physical strength was definitely not bad. She knew it from watching him play with her that day. On the surface, they didn't win or lose, but she knew that Su Qinghui didn't use his full strength. She didn't know how Su Qinghui would react if he found out that he was called old one day. His expression would definitely be very good. Realizing that she was actually distracted, Wei Ting's expression suddenly became aggrieved. Qinshuo? Did I say something wrong? Wei Ting. Li Qianxue looked at him, as if she was looking at a child. You're right. I did divorce him. But it's precisely because I'm already divorced that I'm not afraid to tell you. I'm old, tired, and can't love anymore. You're still young. You're different from me. You have a chance to love a younger and more beautiful girl. I'm not suitable for you. I don't want a younger and more beautiful girl. As Wei Ting spoke, he hugged Li Qianxue and pressed his face against her shoulder. I only want you. But I don't want you. Li Qianxue didn't push him away. She just patted his back. Don't say that you're willing to wait for me. It's very tiring to give for a long time, but not get anything in return. If it's too long, you won't be able to stand it. I won't. Wei Ting, my life experience tells me. Don't be too full of yourself. Don't be too extreme, and don't be too full of yourself. These words were actually said by old Master Li. She didn't understand it before, but later she realized that these words really made sense. My life experience tells me that if I want it, I have to fight for it. No matter what the result is, at least I won't regret it. As expected of a young man, he could say such irresponsible words. Pushing him away, Li Qianxue stood up from the chair. I've accepted the gift, and I've also accepted the flowers. I thank you, but I still have work to do now, so please leave first, Mr. Wei. After all, if you don't leave, it'll be my turn to regret it. Qianxue, I really have something to do. Can you leave now? You've accepted my gift and my flowers. Can you have a meal with me? Not today. She had a lot of work to do. Although she wasn't in a hurry, it was Yusin's birthday next week. In the past, no matter where she was, no matter how busy she was, she would accompany the two children to celebrate their birthdays. She would hold a party for the two children's birthdays every year. This year, Yusin was studying outside. He was studying for 2 degrees at the same time. She didn't want him to be too tired, so she decided to fly to the imperial capital to visit him. However, she didn't want to tell Wei Ting about this, because she really didn't want Wei Ting to follow her on a whim. Qianxue. Wei Ting was really aggrieved. After all, you just won't give me a chance. Yes, I just won't give you a chance, so don't waste your time on me. As soon as Wei Ting got off the plane today, he ran to Li Qianxue excitedly. He didn't expect this to be the result. No matter what, he was still a man. At this moment, he felt a little embarrassed. He looked at Li Qianxue for a long time, then finally turned around and quickly left. Li Qianxue shook her head after he left. Young people were young people. Their emotions were reflected on their faces. If they were happy, they would smile. If they were unhappy, they would have a cold face. It was good to be young. In the North District, everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. The approval process was surprisingly smooth because of Director Chen and Li Junsheng. For such a large project, the commencement ceremony had to be held on a good day. Li Qianxue didn't interfere too much with these matters. Yang Rong brought over a few dates that had been calculated by the Tianyu Group and Su Qinghui's company. One of them was set by the Tianyu Group, and it happened to be 2 days before Su Yusin's birthday. Li Qianxue crossed off this date. She chose a week after Su Yusin's birthday to carry out the groundbreaking ceremony. She asked Yang Rong to book a plane ticket for her, and she arranged all the work on hand. She planned to take a few days off to accompany her son. To be honest, ever since Su Qingsang recognized her, she had focused most of her attention on her daughter. In the past year, she had neglected this son a lot. When Li Qianxue thought of this, she couldn't sit still anymore. She bought a lot of gifts in Lin City. Then, 2 days before Su Yusin's birthday, she got on the plane to visit Su Yusin. Su Yusin had been in university for a year. Other than the first year that students had to live on campus, the Imperial Capital University could choose whether they wanted to live on campus or not. With the Li family's financial resources, Li Qianxue naturally wouldn't let her son squeeze into the school dormitory. She had bought a house near the Imperial Capital University long ago to make it convenient for Su Yusin to go to school. She also hired a special nanny to take care of him. After getting off the plane, the car that had been arranged in advance sent her directly to Su Yusin's apartment. Chapter 721. Li Qianxue had been there for the past few days, because she wanted to spend time with her son. Therefore, she didn't let her assistant follow her and came alone. She was carrying a suitcase in one hand, and a gift for Su Yusin in the other. The moment she saw Su Qinghui, she almost dropped the gift in her hand. For a moment, she suspected that he had bribed Yang Rong. Otherwise, how would he know that the good news was coming? Su Qinghui really didn't follow her on purpose. He came to the capital to discuss a cooperation project. Then, because Su Yusin's birthday was coming up, she came over to see him. Because Su Yusin's residence was not far from the city, he did not stay in a hotel. Instead, he stayed at Su Yusin's place. At this moment, he was holding a document bag in his hand and dressed in a suit and leather shoes. It seemed that he was about to go out. When he saw Li Qianxue enter the door, he stopped in his tracks, as if he didn't expect Li Qianxue to come. The two of them stood in the spacious living room and stared at each other. "Why are you here?" After Li Qianxue asked the question, she realized that she had asked a stupid question. Before the divorce, Su Yusin had decided to go to university in the capital. She and Su Qinghui had picked this house together. The neighborhood was good, the property was good, and it was close to Imperial Capital University. Even though Su Yusin had only been studying here for a few years, in order to make his son live comfortably, the two of them had done their homework before coming here. After the house was bought, the decorations were done according to Su Yusin's favorite style, and were done by the decoration company. After that, Li Qianxue also came a few times. Every time she came to see her son, she stayed here. As for Su Qinghui, she had never met him. "I came to see Yusin." The corners of Li Qianxue's lips curled up, and there was mockery in her eyes. Her eyes fell on the document bag in Su Qinghui's hand. Without saying anything, she carried her luggage into the house. She took the gift for her son to his room, and was about to go to the guest room with her clothes, only to find that the guest room was already occupied by Su Qinghui. Her expression was somewhat unsightly. The location of the house where Su Yusin went to school was good, and the layout was also good. But there was one thing. In the beginning, Li Qianxue wanted her son to live more comfortably, so she connected the two houses into one. The place was huge, but there were only 3 rooms. One was given to Su Yusin as the master bedroom, one was a guest room, and one was a study. There's nothing more. Looking at the overly spacious living room outside, Li Qianxue's expression did not look good. Su Qinghui didn't leave. He followed Li Qianxue to the door of the guest room. Of course, he also saw the suitcase he had left in the room. "You stay here. I'll squeeze in with Yusin." Li Qianxue turned to look at him, and the corners of her lips curled up with a hint of coldness. "I'm more inclined to let you stay in a hotel." She was there to celebrate Su Yusin's birthday. What was Su Qinghui doing here? "Qianxue." Su Qinghui seemed very helpless. "I am also Yusin's father." "Heh. Yeah, I know." Li Qianxue crossed her arms in front of her chest, her expression uneasy. "If you weren't the father of 2 children, do you think you would still be standing here now?" Su Qinghui wasn't angry at her words. He went into his room and began to pack his things. He had only been here for 2 days, so he didn't have too many things. She packed up her things and carried her suitcase to Su Yusin's room. While he was doing these things, Li Qianxue had been watching him. There was no expression on her face, but it was obvious that she was very unhappy, very unhappy. Su Qinghui finished packing and was about to go out. He looked at his watch. "Qianxue, I'm going out for a while. If you want to go, then go. I don't need you to care about me." Su Qinghui actually wanted to stay, but he had business to attend to. After thinking about it, he decided to leave first. He left, but Li Qianxue's expression didn't improve much. There had been a lot of things to do in the company during this period of time. She also wanted to take this opportunity to rest for a few days. Now that she saw Su Qinghui, she only felt angry. She had a feeling that her vacation had been ruined. Damn it. Su Yusin was very busy with schoolwork. After the afternoon class, he rejected his friend's appointment and went home. However, he didn't expect to see his mother instead of his father when he opened the door. Mom, why are you here? I'm here to see you. Facing her son, Li Qianxue restrained all her emotions. Speaking of which, neither of her two children went smoothly. When she gave birth to Su Qingsang for the first time, the position of the fetus was not right. It took her a long time to give birth to the child. It was even more so when she gave birth to Su Yusin. At that time, her relationship with Su Qinghui was cold. When she was pregnant, her emotions fluctuated too much. She still hadn't forgotten that when Su Yusin was born, his body was much thinner and smaller than the average child. In the blink of an eye, her son had grown up so much, and in the blink of an eye, he was already in college. Where's my dad? Su Yusin glanced into the room, but didn't find Su Qinghui. Who knows? Li Qianxue didn't want to mention Su Qinghui. Yusin, it's your birthday in a few days. Mom bought you a lot of gifts. Also, didn't you say that you liked Aston Martin last time? The car will be delivered tomorrow. I picked your favorite white one. Mom, there's no need. I have a car. Su Yusin had a headache. He used to go to school in Lin City. Now that he was in the capital, he was going to drive a sports car to class? How is it exaggerated? Li Qianxue adjusted her son's collar. If you like it, then drive it. It's just a car. Su Yusin decided not to discuss this issue with Li Qianxue. For Li Qianxue, ever since the divorce, she wanted to be twice as good to her two children. Mom, when did you arrive? Have you eaten? I just ate something outside for lunch. Aren't we waiting for you for dinner? When Li Qianxue heard Su Yusin say that he was hungry, she immediately looked at the time. It's getting late. Yusin, are you hungry? Let's go eat. I checked when I came. There are a few good restaurants near the capital university. Mom, Su Yusin was a little hesitant. I promised to have dinner with Dad tonight. Li Qianxue's expression suddenly became a little subtle. What she didn't want to hear the most now was everything related to Su Qinghui. Let's go eat. Don't worry about him. Give him a call and tell him to take care of it outside. Mom, Su Yusin had a headache. Ever since he was young, Su Qinghui had indeed spent the most effort on Su Peixian. However, he was a boy. He wouldn't say that he was so jealous of his sister. Another thing was that Su Qinghui was actually very good to him. He had a good relationship with Su Qinghui. It's decided then. Call him. Li Qianxue saw the gloomy look on her son's face halfway through her words. She swallowed the rest of her words. What was she doing? Forcing her son to break off relations with Su Qinghui? Asking her son to disown Su Qinghui? Even if she and Su Qinghui divorced, it was still between her and Su Qinghui. Why did she have to involve the child? Forget it. Li Qianxue waved her hand and sat back on the sofa. Ask him where he is. She originally wanted to be angry and let Su Yusin and Su Qinghui go eat together. She would rather starve than eat with Su Qinghui. However, for the sake of the child, she didn't want to do this. This was a different matter. She couldn't vent her anger on the child because of what Su Qinghui had done. Mom, Su Yusin knew that since Li Qianxue and Su Qinghui divorced, she had never liked him. If you really don't want to see Dad, why don't we go eat together and let him settle it himself? Okay. Li Qianxue patted the back of Su Yusin's hand. Do you think I don't know you? If I really do that, you probably won't be able to sleep tonight. Su Yusin didn't refute. Su Yusin was a father, and Li Qianxue was a mother. He really didn't want their relationship to be too stiff, but unfortunately, he couldn't break the deadlock in front of him. When Li Qianxue and her son arrived at the restaurant she had booked before, Su Qinghui hadn't arrived yet. It was better if he didn't come. They could have a good talk. Although they had video calls and often contacted each other, it was different to see her son in person. Why do you feel a little thinner? Is it because your schoolwork is too heavy? Don't tire yourself out too much. How am I tired? Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Su Yusin picked up the teapot on the table and poured tea for Li Qianxue. As for the topic of him losing weight, he didn't answer. Generally, a mother would feel thinner if she didn't see her child for a few days. It's good that you know what you're doing. Li Qianxue came to celebrate Su Yusin's birthday this time. Yusin, how do you want to celebrate your birthday? You should have good classmates in college, right? Why don't I book a place to hold a party and invite all your classmates and professors. Mom, there's no need. Su Yusin was only halfway through his words when the door of the private room was opened. Su Qinghui came. He was stunned when he saw Li Qianxue. He thought she didn't want to see him. Li Qianxue really didn't want to see him. When he entered the door, she turned her gaze away and didn't intend to look at him at all. The atmosphere in the private room was inexplicably a little strange. Su Yusin stood up at this time to smooth things over. Dad, you're here? You haven't eaten yet, right? The dishes are ordered. I'll ask them to serve the dishes since you're here. He rang the bell to ask the waiter to serve the dishes. Su Yusin thought for a moment and asked Su Qinghui to sit on the other side of him. With him there to separate the two of them, it might be a little less awkward. But in this way, Li Qianxue, who was originally looking at him, could naturally see Su Qinghui. As for Su Qinghui, his eyes never left Li Qianxue. Dad, are you done with your work? Yes. Su Qinghui nodded, and his face finally relaxed a little. It's going well. Everything will be fine tomorrow, and the day after. Su Yusin's birthday was the day after tomorrow, which happened to be Saturday. What gift does Yusin want? Daddy will give you a lift. No need, I don't lack anything. Didn't you say you liked the Aston Martin V12? Vantage. How about I order one for you? Su Qinghui remembered seeing his son's post on WeChat. Picture of Vantage. No need. This time, it was Li Qianxue who spoke. Her face was gloomy, and a storm was gathering in her eyes. I've already bought a car for my son. There's no need for you to send me. As Li Qianxue spoke, there was a flash of mockery in her eyes. If you want to give someone a gift, you have to ask first. It was obvious that she did not care about the child at all. But you've always been like this. All these years, I've seen you carefully prepare Su Peijian's present. When have you ever cared about the other two children's birthdays? Mom. Su Yusin did not expect that Li Qianxue would take advantage of this opportunity to make things difficult for him. It wasn't as exaggerated as Li Qianxue said. It was just that, relatively speaking, Su Qinghui was a little strict with him. But this was only because he was a boy. He understood. Qianxue. Su Qinghui didn't know what else he could say. He came from an ordinary background, and he relied entirely on his own efforts to achieve what he had today. He had never advocated spoiling children. Even the gifts he had given Su Peijian in the past weren't necessarily very expensive. They were all things that they could use on a daily basis. After all, there was Li Qianxue and old Master Li at home. The children usually got enough. However, he didn't expect such a thing to be interpreted like this in Li Qianxue's eyes. I always keep my children's birthdays in mind. I didn't order a car at the time, because Yusin is going to school here now. It's the same if I really need to go back to Lin City to prepare for him. You have to choose the time and place to give a gift. To put it bluntly, aren't you just not caring? He's just going to school here. It's not appropriate for him to drive a sports car every day. Look at what you're saying. What's wrong with my son driving a sports car? Those third-rate celebrities swagger around the streets in sports cars. There's no reason why Yusin can't, right? That's not what I meant at all. Su Qinghui didn't want to argue with Li Qianxue, and he didn't understand where her anger came from. I mean, Yusin is still going to school. Su Yusin knew why Li Qianxue was angry, but before he could speak, Li Qianxue's face had already darkened. It was quite ugly. Su Qinghui, on Su Peijian's 18th birthday, you bought her a Ferrari. Do you want me to say it? All these years, how have you treated Su Peijian? How have you treated Yusin and Qingsang? Do you want me to tell you one thing at a time? The atmosphere in the private room dropped to a freezing point. Su Yusin felt a headache coming on. Dad, Mom, stop arguing. Li Qianxue couldn't stay any longer. Argue? Who wants to argue with him? Look at him. How is he a father? He didn't even prepare a gift for your birthday. Is this how he acts as a father? She couldn't go on. Her heart was stifled. She stood up and was about to leave. Su Yusin quickly grabbed her. Mom, calm down. It's not that exaggerated. Dad came to prepare a gift for me the day before yesterday. Really? What? Randomly picked out a watch? Has he ever treated you with affection? Has he ever treated Qingsang with affection? Li Qianxue wasn't a person who liked to bring up old scores. She came out today because she wanted to have a good meal with her son. However, Su Qinghui's attitude just now really made her angry. Look at how he treats Su Peijian, and how he treats you and Qingsang. He doesn't deserve to be a father at all. Mom! Su Yusin really regretted it now. If he had known earlier, he would have let Su Qinghui eat out. Dad isn't like what you said. He usually treats me very well. You know that. Su Yusin really didn't think it was a big deal. He usually had pocket money, and old Master Li and Li Qianxue wouldn't let the child suffer. In the past, he and Su Peijian had learned to make their own investments. He would buy whatever he wanted. He didn't understand why Li Qianxue was so angry. Perhaps he knew, but he really didn't think it was necessary. Mom, you're here to accompany me, right? Can we have a good meal? Li Qianxue didn't speak. Looking at her son's face, she sat down again in the end. At this time, the waiter began to serve the dishes. Li Qianxue ordered all of Su Yusin's favorites. No matter how powerful she was outside, she really loved her two children. At this time, she didn't want to argue with Su Qinghui anymore. She kept putting food into Su Yusin's bowl. However, from beginning to end, she didn't look at Su Qinghui. After all, she didn't want Su Yusin to worry. She was very depressed during the meal, but she still forced herself to squeeze out a smile. This made Li Qianxue feel very bad. Finally, after the meal, when Su Qinghui got up, she threw a dagger in his direction. In the evening, after ending the video call with Su Qingsang, she called old Master Li again. Li Qianxue went out of the room to the kitchen to pour herself a glass of water. When she walked out of the room, she saw Su Qinghui sitting on the sofa. He had a cigarette in his hand, but it wasn't lit. Li Qianxue stopped in her tracks. If you want to smoke, go out. Don't pollute the air here. I don't smoke. Su Qinghui did want to use the tobacco to relax for a while, but it was just a thought. After throwing the cigarette into the trash can, he stood up and looked at Li Qianxue. Qianxue, I don't want to smoke. She didn't understand why he explained so carefully. Anyway, Li Qianxue didn't care about this. It's fine as long as you don't smoke in this room. You don't have to tell me. You can do whatever you want. It has nothing to do with me. Qianxue. Su Qinghui took 2 steps forward and stood in front of her. He looked at her face, and there was a hint of pain in his eyes. It's not that I don't care. Whether it's Yusin or Qingsang, they're all my children. They're all your children. So, on Su Peijian's birthday, you held a party every year. Every year, you invited a group of people to celebrate her. Every year, you prepared birthday gifts for her early. What about the other 2? Qianxue. Su Qinghui's expression was bitter. It's not fair for you to blame me like this, because you were the one who wanted to hold a party for Peijian. Do you remember? I stopped you a long time ago. You were the one who insisted on celebrating her like this. Su Qinghui. Li Qianxue was very angry. How can you have the face to mention it? Why did I have to celebrate it? That's because I thought she was my child. As the granddaughter of the Li family, of course, she can enjoy the treatment she deserves. But what about you? What did you do? All these years, Qingsang and Su Peijian's birthdays were only 1 day apart. What about Qingsang? Have you ever done anything for her? Su Qinghui couldn't refute, but at this moment, he understood one thing. Perhaps what Li Qianxue hated the most was not that he didn't love her, but because, Qianxue, do you hate me because you think I mistreated the 2 children? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.